Hello, everyone, and welcome to our first episode of, zero episode, I guess, of Star Wars Desperate Gamble featuring Chaos Initiative. Gabe is late, so their screen is currently black, and they will he will join us shortly. Some scheduling conflict problems, so excuse any camera movements that I have to do in the next little while when Gabe enters the call and screws up all of my setup. So,
I mean, we'll do a wipe to bring Gabe in true Star Wars fashion.
I wish I could. We shall jokingly shame. Not their fault. Not his fault. You know what I mean? Like, it's just.
Yeah, don't be mean.
Circumstances of the situation. So, I think the first thing we want to do, because some people this may be their first show with our lovely crew, is do some introductions and like have people, tell everybody about themselves and what they do and stuff. So like Aki, why don't you start us off with like who is Aki and what should we know about them?
Who is Aki? That's a question. I'm still figuring that out. But hi everyone. I'm Aki. I am a member of the Chaos Initiative with the rest of these fine folks. You probably have seen me palling around as Yeshivon on our Rime of the Frostmaiden game, as well as several other games all around the internet on Twitch. I guess I'm somebody who loves to play games. I especially love sci-fi games, and having the opportunity to play more Star Wars is something I'm really excited about, considering that I am a part of a Star Wars home game that has been inactive since the Panini started.
Oh, no.
And I don't know when I'm going to get to play that game again, if ever. So I'm really glad I have this game as an outlet to play. I've grown up with Star Wars. I am not what some people would call like a huge mega ultra fan. I've not consumed every piece of literature or media that has ever been created for Star Wars, mostly due to lack of time, but not lack of interest. There's plenty about Star Wars that I don't know that I'm excited to learn about. I would definitely not say I'm a casual fan. I'm slightly above a filthy casual when it comes to this. Like I'm fair to Midland on Star Wars stuff.
This is a good addition to this like introduction, a Star Wars related knowledge base. I like this.
You should make
Dave.
Chart.
Tell us about Dave. Tell us about what we need to know about Dave and how related to Star Wars things you are.
Dave has been doing these shows on the Roll20 for like 6 years or something.
Yeah.
A really long time.
Keep on.
No, it was on this channel. One mic. In the Frostmaiden, I'm a skeleton. That's pretty good. I was allowed to be a skeleton by Elf, which is very kind.
You're most welcome.
And I love them very much.
Aww. How much
I meant the skeleton.
Oh. My heart.
I like you that much.
How much Star Wars do you know about, Dave? Like, what's your Star Wars knowledge base?
I've seen all the movies. I've seen The Mandalorian. And I read the Qui-Gon Jinn books when I was like 12.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I know exactly the books you're referring to.
Yeah,
I also
and
read
then I played a bunch of the games. So like
a fair bit.
A fair bit, but
yeah.
When there was in the Discord Aki sent a Star Wars race spreadsheet so we could choose what we wanted to be. I was just like, I've seen like 3 of these before.
Yeah. There are so many options.
I mean, a lot of Star Wars is in the background, right? A lot of the sort of like species options that exist are like you see them once in the background of a cantina, and that's really all the mainstream cares about them.
But people latch onto them.
But yeah, people
world.
Exactly. People know a lot about them in the Star Wars sphere. Andrew, tell us what we need to know about an Andrew.
Yeah, hi, I'm Andrew. I am like a game designer and
Welcome
stuff.
back, by the way.
And yeah, I used to do some of these shows back in the day. I'm really excited to learn about this Star Wars thing. You know, I've heard people talk about it a lot over the course of my life, but you know, it's nice to finally dip my toes in a little bit. Yeah, I'm glad to be here, excited to be here.
Wonderful, and I'm happy to have you. For those who didn't know, we had a late in the day cast shuffle because Abria had some stuff to what do you call it, like stuff in the time slot that was conflicting that needed to be done. So Andrew magnanimously chose to join in my hour of need. Much appreciated.
There was a disturbance in the force.
There was.
And Andrew felt it, and then came.
I was told that I was Elf's only hope and that I needed to help her.
Help me, Andrew. You're my only hope. And then, of course, there's me. And Gabe will introduce himself when he gets here. But there's me. I'm DistractedElf. I have been doing GM streams for this game for 6 weeks now, building up to this session 0. And I'm looking forward to doing more of those every Thursday before the campaign. So it's going to be like, you know, us in chat and me laying track in front of the players as we go week to week, which is going to be super fun. I also run the Rime of the Frostmaiden campaign on the D&D stream for Roll20 at the moment, and I currently am streaming a whole lot of ranked League of Legends with my partner Siobhan on my own personal channel. So if you want something completely different that has nothing to do with RPGs and more to do with me getting salty at my team, you can watch that too at whatever time I happen to be doing it. And my Star Wars knowledge is ultra hyper nerd levels. Some of it is a little rusty because I haven't had to apply it like a what do you call it, encyclopedic career move for quite some time. But there was a time when I knew everything. There was the cameras have been, yeah, there it is. Welcome, Gabe. Hello.
I said 15 minutes. I was right on the dot.
You were exactly.
You're 2 minutes early.
But I couldn't.
Late.
I couldn't leave the stream off for 15 minutes.
That's fine.
Let me just quickly shuffle things around while I talk. I was saying something about my hyper nerdness, Star Wars wise. We're just gonna do this from the beginning. We'll just delete all of these.
Let's start at the very beginning.
Start over.
A very good place to start.
Gabe, why don't you, while I'm doing this, that's not what I wanted. Introduce yourself for the folks at home, and tell us what we need to know about a Gabe if we had never met a Gabe.
Hello.
Yeah.
I'm Gabe. You probably know me as Gabe James Games on Twitch, Twitter, and pretty much anywhere else. I am the in-house game designer for Roll20. I have done game design work with Paizo, Critical Role, MCDM. I also do cosplay and voiceover work. I'm some age over 25 and some age under 41. I live in the woods. I found a deer skeleton yesterday. I don't know. That's it.
These are fantastic pieces of knowledge. How much about Star Wars do you know? What's your Star Wars
decent
knowledge base?
I've read 2 of the books. I have seen all the movies. Watched the extended universe shows. And yes, Butt Prince, I am wearing a Howl cosplay right now. You are correct.
Yes, I love it. Cool. All right, good. Now that we've gotten through introductions, wonderful. We can start talking about the show in specific. So today's episode is going to be a session 0, so it's going to be character creation. It's going to be talking about what you would need to know about the setting if you were like first being introduced to it as these characters, what they would know, as well as we'll be talking about safety tools and like what we would consider good and or bad or accessible and or not accessible in terms of topics and things that people want to engage with. And we will also be talking about tone and sort of like not setting, but like Star Wars consistency, if you know what I mean. Like, what is a Star Wars when compared to another sci-fi show, and how does that work for our characters and the world around us, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
I'm trying to improvise all this yammering while I move all the cameras around, so I'm slightly distracted. Okay, the cameras are all in position. Wonderful. I'll have to do it again if we go to the playing screen, but that's fine. So I think the first thing to talk about, and I think the first thing that anybody should talk about when they get to a table and they're looking to play a game with their friends is safety, right? We want to talk about like what sorts of things are absolutely off limits, what sorts of things are difficult. We're going to use like a lines and veils sort of rule set along with the X card for this. Lines and veils meaning hard nose and like ask before you do this kind of stuff, and fade to blacks and that sort of thing. And then X card being if at any point you're uncomfortable, you can just like X out of a scene and I will stop immediately. Whatever is happening will stop. It will fade. We will move on to something else, basically. Is the essential manner of this. So now I have a list off to the side here, a document with all these nice check boxes and lines and so forth that we can talk about, like what is a problem for us, and what would be a no. And I'll start us off because I think I've got a couple that I know that I'm not going to look at. Stuff that are absolute lines for me. Transphobia, obviously, really don't want to deal with it. Not gonna include it in my game. I'm also not going to include any homophobic content. It's just never going to happen because I don't feel like that makes anything better. And I'm also not going to include anything sexual assault-wise. All of those are lines for me. None of that is going to be part of my game. If there's anything in particular that you folks would like to add to that, please, now would be a wonderful time to talk about it. Even if it's stuff like I don't like centipedes, like can we not have like there's no sort of like it doesn't have to be big serious topics, just stuff you don't want to deal with or that you would rather I ask before I use.
That makes sense.
Well, the one that I always bring up in shows generally is I really don't like harm to animals generally.
Yeah, like pets.
Yeah, mostly like pet type stuff.
Sure.
But I don't know. Sometimes it depends what mood I'm in. If it extends to like horses or deer.
I mean,
or
I will state for the record that we have created dangerous wildlife for this planet. It exists.
Yeah. Dangerous wildlife is cool. But
Okay.
if it's someone's like pet space cat.
Domestic animals, no harm to domestic animals. Noted.
Yeah,
I've
that's what I'd like.
written it down, lined out. No problem. I won't do it.
Yeah.
Does anybody else have anything they really don't want to see that hasn't been listed?
I think it's a little bit difficult perhaps in the realm of Star Wars because I think it's so ingrained into the culture of this particular game. And when it comes down to it is a big generator of why things are the way they are.
Yeah.
But I think as far as maybe not a line in this case, I think I would be okay with it being a veil of not getting too in the weeds on like some of the more like speciest or racist aspects of the game.
Definitely. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. What I will say is like I appreciate that you didn't line it out entirely because I think there's a like the Empire is very much like a humans first, humans only kind of group. But I will downplay it, and if you're ever uncomfortable, just let me know. You know what I mean? Like X it out.
I think that for Star Wars it's a little bit too like
it's too ingrained.
Quintessential to like why the universe exists in the way that it does to completely like I don't want to deal with it at all. So
sure. I will try my best not to equate it to anything that might feel like too real, if you know what I mean.
And also another veil for me is insects.
Oh, okay.
Spiders especially. I don't like them. I am happy to fight them, and I don't mind them being there. I just don't need graphic descriptions of the way they move.
Noted.
Or what they look like.
Noted.
Don't need it.
I've set it down. Once again, veil again. If you ever feel uncomfortable, feel free to just tap out. That is fine by me. Anyone else? Anything?
I think just more of a veil, like visceral descriptions of torture. Like
You got it.
I imagine there's going to be like the bad guys trying to get information, but literally just like, and you can hear them torturing him in the other room.
Sure.
Like that's still good by me, because then like I know what's happening, can add in our own personal narrative to it. But
I mean, we do, and if you look at Star Wars as a tonal thing, they do that all the time, where they do the like Han Solo is screaming in the other room, and you know what's happening, or the probe droid comes in with the needle, and that's the last scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
or,
there's like a camera push towards the robot, and then they cut.
Yeah,
Star Wars really is built for that.
Yeah. I mean, like scene wise and tone wise, Star Wars is built for people are nasty, villains are bad, but they're generally not graphically bad. Like we're not like bloody dismemberment levels of anything. You know what I mean?
The only graphic depiction of torture that I can remember in a Star Wars movie is of a robot, and it's played as a gag.
Yeah.
Which this is my thing I wanted to bring up. The way that Star Wars treats robots as like completely unserious characters really bothers me. Because I think it's very dehumanizing, and they're kind of basically people, but then they're like their personhood gets shut off in weird ways in the course of a lot of the narratives that I've seen. So I'm not a big fan of that kind of thing.
I can sort of veil some of that. I think there's some elements of Star Wars that might require one or two instances of such a thing, but mostly like I'm happy to present them as people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the thing is, I'm not saying like don't be mean to the robots. I'm just saying when we see people being mean to robots or whatever,
it should be equally as bad.
That we understand that to be a person being mistreated rather than yeah.
I mean,
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank
okay.
you for
No,
bringing
I
that up.
really like that. Yeah, that's good. Noted. Is there anything else, anything egregious that we're missing, or anything that you think of that isn't? Remember, we can come back to this at any time, and if we end up in a scene that you don't appreciate or you don't like, do not let me keep going. Okay? Just stop me, and you don't have to stop me with your words or anything. Like just a quick gesture or something, some note to me.
Punch you in the head.
I think
I don't
there's
want
one
anybody to be
other.
uncomfortable.
Yeah, I think there's one other really important conversation that I think we have to have, specifically about romance.
Yes, good call.
Let's see.
And what everybody's comfort level is with that. I am personally a huge fan of playing out in character romances, either with PCs or NPCs. Obviously, as far as like sexual stuff goes, I keep that behind veil.
Of course.
And I always try to check in with I try to check in with people when I'm like, hey, are we good? Are we good?
Flirt with your character or your NPC.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Before I just, come out of left field, just like, you're hot, I want to be in you. Like, so yeah.
So would it be fair to say that you are open to romance with NPCs and PCs, Aki, as long as consent is acquired?
Yep.
What about the rest of the cast? I'm interested in this.
That's the
Consent
same for me.
acquired. Target locked on. Sorry, Gabe, didn't mean to speak.
No, I was just saying I'm on the same page as Aki.
Same page as
but-
Aki?
And
Okay.
Andrew said it in a much more charming way, so I support both.
Here's what I will say is I'm enthusiastically and excited about if you want to romance my character, betray my character, have a weird messed up relationship with my character, have a complicated history with my character. I'm into all of that kind of stuff.
That's great. No, that's
and
good.
stoked about it. So
I'm into
yeah.
it. Yeah, and like the messy details are more important, I think, than the like sexual content. You know what I mean? Like we're not planning to describe anything in graphic detail when it comes down to like they go to bed together. I'm not gonna do that. I'm just not.
Yeah. That's not the.
But the like relationship antics, I totally, as a person playing the NPCs, please approach the NPCs with that in mind. Like I'm okay with that. Dave, do you have an opinion on this?
Yeah, if we were to use a different safety tool that we're not really employing, as an example, it would kind of be like the amber light in the middle. I'm a bit uncomfortable, but I can probably manage it. But obviously, I would say anything if it did get to
Yeah.
whatever.
So I'm hearing sort of like consent consent based, like case by case, like kind of.
Yeah, case by case. Generally, even even being around it, like other characters doing it, is a bit like me just
I understand.
taking a bit extra energy to be like cool with it.
And you're always welcome again to like fade out, or we can do a brief description of something and move on to the next thing. It's okay. Like don't ever feel uncomfortable, any of you, please. That is the most important thing to me.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I will say is that the setting and the situation in general that you will find yourselves in to begin with does deal a little bit with like drugs and addiction and like relapse a little bit, because there is like this scum and villainy aspect to the planet that you're on that is about like exporting combat stimulants basically, and like the use of like potentially nasty substances. Just so you know that is a theme that is like part of my setting. How foreground or background that is will depend on how you guys engage with it, or how you want to engage with it. If you're not interested in it, you're not interested in it, but it is there. When we were developing the like setting, it became apparent that was something I would have to address. So I just wanted to make sure that you're all on board. You know what I mean? I'm not going to go into graphic detail. I'm not going to, like labor the point. I just want you to know it's there. Wonderful. Okay, safety tools. Boom.
I think with those things, it's always more not just important to check in with us about it, but also let the chat know that if you ever need resources or help for that kind of thing, those are available for you.
Yeah, we have a content warning for chat that Ginger is liberal with, which is great. Thank you, Ginger, for that. The other thing you should know if you're watching this show is that at any point I might spoil something in Star Wars. Sorry. If you've decided to watch this Let's Play of a Star Wars game, I assume you know things about Star Wars. If you get spoiled, I take no responsibility. Sorry.
Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's dad.
Thanks, Dave.
I did it.
So that's out.
Spoiled Star Wars.
You think John Boyega's character is going to be important, and then they totally sideline him because he's black, and it sucks.
So that okay, all right. Well, we're getting a little spicy. That was not my intent. I just wanted to go over our content warnings. But thank you for examples of what I meant.
Us getting spicy?
Oh, never, ever. Okay, I think the next thing to talk about in terms of character creation is tone and the kind of party we want to make, right? I remember in the very early stages of this show, Dave saying something about wanting to be relatively heroic when it comes to Star Wars. We don't want to. I don't know if that's still true, Dave, or you have any thoughts on that, or if anybody does in terms of like the themes or tone that they would like to explore as PCs.
Yeah. I think that conversation developed in an interesting way where we got to. They're not always like the characters don't have to be like pure shining.
You're not all Luke Skywalker. Yeah.
Paladins or whatever, Jedi paladins, they're the same thing. Space paladins. Oh my god. I worked it out. But what we said that I thought was a really good thing, I think Abrea probably said it, was that they would heed the call to something heroic when it presented itself, even though the lives can be messy and villainous and people make a lot of mistakes and get in dodgy dealings and shoot people for fun.
I mean, part of Edge of the Empire as a mechanical game is that you're going to be involved in dodgy dealings. You're going to be more Han Solo than Luke Skywalker. You know what I mean? You're going to be more on that side of things where there are like problems and things get messy and what have you. My general thought while I was building the setting with Abrea in the times that we had our GM streams together was there will be opportunities to be the good guys, but those opportunities will not necessarily be the easy ones or the smart ones all the time. You know what I mean? Like, I want to give you the ability make those choices together and sort of like as a party choose to be the heroes if you want, or to be the neutrals, you know what I mean, if that's what you'd prefer. And I've kept that in mind while I've been building the world that you're going to be sort of like starting on.
But also what Andrew said, if there's like a big twist betrayal, even if it's one of the PCs, that would be sick as hell.
All right, cool. All right, so we're like open to messing around with the sort of like dramatic Star Wars tone is what I'm hearing. And those of you that, you know, everybody said they have at least a passing knowledge, which is great, because I think that opens up to like, what is a Star War? You know what I mean? Like, what in a Star War is different than in a Babylon 5, in a Star Trek, you know, whatever. Like, what makes a Star War, so to speak? We all have like a relatively good grasp of. And my personal answer to that is the action is flashy and messy, but quite heroic in its tone. The stakes are high, but they are inevitably like the good guy stakes, you know what I mean? There are people in the universe that are irredeemably evil, that is, but that everybody wants to, you know, you can redeem them anyway, kind of thing. That
just inexplicably kiss the main character,
well,
and then they're fine.
That the differences between transcendently heroic person and a villain are doubt and fear, you know what I mean? It's like a lot of the stuff in Star Wars. There's a lot of good stuff in there. And these are things that I want to like look at, you know what I mean, as a show. Edge of the Empire creates a certain expectation of tone in that it is scum and villainy focused. It is focused on the slightly grimier parts of Star Wars, like, you know, your Hutts and your pirates and your Imperial outposts and so forth, but you're not going to be raiding the Death Star. You know what I mean? Like, it's not really the tone we're going for. We're not, you know, the scrappy rebels taking on the Empire by ourselves. That's not the plan. The other thing that everybody should be aware of is that our timeline, our Star Wars timeline, where we are in the timeline of Star Wars, we are post-Empire. So we are in that wonderful vacuous state between the Imperial remnant being pushed back to their various fortresses and the New Republic sort of like taking control of the core worlds, and like the political system changing and things being in upheaval, especially in the Outer Rim, where we're mostly going to be, where there are a lot of now like sort of vacant positions of power that are being filled by your local warlords or your local crime gangs or your local corrupt government, or, you know, whatever, these kinds of things. So that's the plan. Before we get into, I think, did anybody have anything else to add about tone? I don't want to like take over the conversation here. If there's anything like people are like, oh, I like this about Star Wars and I'd like to explore X or Y, please feel free.
We talk about the Force.
Oh,
how much or how little of it is
so initially your characters will be Edge of the Empire characters, so that generally the Force is low. We're not playing any exiled Jedi. We're not playing any, you know, like ancient master warriors, Obi-Wan style, or anything like that. We're playing at a low power level, low XP start kind of thing, with a bunch of like scrappy out and out Outer Rim characters. Now the Force can develop in any character other than a droid, unfortunately. The Force can develop in any character depending on what you purchase with your XP. The essential difference between a character without access to Force powers and one with Force powers is a Force rating. And you can get this by purchasing the specialized talent tree Force Sensitive Exile, which gives you a Force rating of 1. And then you can start like learning Force stuff. But it's not Jedi Force stuff. It's like, I'm a Force sensitive person who hasn't had any training, kind of thing. But so that can be done over time with XP, basically. The Force is with you if you want it to be. And I'm okay if you do want it to be. If somebody wants to be that like I am learning the sort of nascent power of the Force or what have you, and I don't really understand it or any of that. That's fine. I'm not barring the Force from play because I think it's an essential aspect of Star Wars, but I'm barring it from initial character creation because I don't want to deal with 1 Jedi and 3 normals. You know what I mean?
Can I ask a follow-up question?
Of course.
So the Force exists as like a mechanics thing in the game, but also as like a set of spiritual practices within the setting, right? So like,
Correct.
if I want to be someone who like engages in those practices as like a spiritual thing,
Yeah.
that's a whole other matter
No,
entirely,
that's
right?
entirely different.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
that's sort of like your Chirrut Imwe, like Rogue One, sort of like Temple Guard sort of thing. Like this never really explained whether he's Force sensitive or not, but he practices like the way of the Jedi, sort of kind of stuff. Yeah, no, that's totally fine. It's just that the mechanical access to the Force is limited by XP and limited by not at character creation, basically.
Cool. Yep.
Wonderful. Okay, cool. So let me tell you a little bit about our setting, just so you know where you're making these characters and where they're starting. So I have no definitive relationships between your party. That will be determined once we make the characters, and we'll talk about their relationships and like how they know each other or how they don't or how they're going to be introduced to that kind of stuff after that. But I will tell you about the setting. It is a planet called Vode. Vode is a fungal jungle. It's like giant mushrooms and like big purple, blue sort of like colors and vibrant, wildlife and so forth. And it is all covered in a gray, misty, heavy, dank fog. Like there's this like fog that comes up from under the ground through these geysers that has like covered the planet sort of. And it's not really a weather so much as the weather. This fog is being used by a local company to be condensed into like a combat stimulant. So it's like being it has some chemical property that makes it condensable into a drug, and breathing it as a person who has no ventilator or is like out in the wilderness is dangerous, because if you breathe too much of it, you can't breathe other stuff. Basically, like it affects your lungs in a way that's like you need a respirator in oxygen if you were breathing too much of the fog out in the Vodian jungle. So it's very like respirator heavy, like safety tools, helmets, that kind of stuff, like to get this stuff out of your system. So on Vode, there has been a recent change in sort of authority, because the Imperials used to sort of control this planet in the Outer Rim because of the fog and the stimulant that it could create, being used as a combat drug for their troops, right? And creating these like very powerful stormtrooper like shock squads, basically. But they've since been driven away because of their resources being needed elsewhere as the remnant like crumbles back into their various fortresses, like Bastion and places like that. And a company that was a logging company here, who were taking the wood, the fungal wood from the planet in like a mahogany related luxury lumber kind of way. A company called the United Timber Company, or Utico for short, have taken over, and also taken over the sort of like fog harvesting. So they've moved from just legitimate business into sort of criminal business, while they like harvest this fog, because Imperial credits and New Republic credits and all this stuff in general has like very much devalued because the governments are all in upheaval. So the important thing is the like tactical resource that exists that they will be able to sell out from the planet, if you know what I mean. So the fog has become sort of a side business for them and taken up a lot of their new resource, and they've become less of a legitimate company and more of a criminal syndicate as time goes on, though they still present as a legitimate company. It's well known on Vode that they own everything basically at this point. Like when the Empire pulled out, they took over.
Do they issue like a company script as well?
Yeah,
Like,
they
is
have
there a...
Utico trade ships are in use on the planet as like the regulated currency.
Okay.
So that's something that you would all know if you've been to Vode. Imperial credits are relatively useless, and so are New Republic credits because this is the Outer Rim. You know what I mean? Credits are no good. Need something more real. Trade script is that thing. The other important stuff is that there is the way that the buildings are built on Vode is all underground. So think skyscraper, but go below. Because the atmosphere is like dangerous, right? The fog is dangerous to breathe. It's mostly atmospherically sealed below ground. So it's like turbo lifts down rather than skyscrapers up, if you know what I mean. But the structure is relatively the same. We're talking about like large underground mall style like setup. If you've ever been in an underground mall, you know what I'm talking about. And Utico has like bunkers down there, and the only reason they haven't been ousted by like the Hutts or some other large crime syndicate to get at their resources that is the fog is because they're like heavily entrenched, and it would be a lot more work than it's worth, basically at this point in time. There are some above ground structures, but they are usually like older or like from when Vode was initially colonized. Mostly everything is below ground. There are a bunch of people who it's like a mostly uninhabited planet. Like there's a large city, like not large city, but a major city, and then the rest is jungle, like fungal jungle. Some people have landed what I would call wildcat settlements out in the wilderness, using their spaceship as sort of the atmospherically sealed building that they can live in, and trying to do their own thing out in the jungle, whatever it is, harvest their own, fog or research something in specific or what have you. There are a couple of those out there. But mostly there's like one major city on Vode, and it's controlled by Utico.
What's it called?
It doesn't have a name. It's Vode. You know what I mean? Like it's the place on Vode that you would go.
Yeah. Okay.
Vode City, I guess. Other important things. Sorry, I'm kind of like dumping GM stream info at you. There is remnants of an old Force-related culture on the planet. There are ruins out there that suggest that there is some kind of there was at some point some kind of like Force worshipping or Force using culture on the planet. There are no remnants of them other than these ruins. And these ruins are used by Utico as sort of like a danger tourism sort of like venture where, people pay a lot to go see the fancy ancient ruins, and they have some significance, but that significance is mostly lost to Utico themselves and to the people who've colonized this place because they'd rather make a buck on it, right? The other important thing is all the other stuff is mostly like inside the city, cantinas and locales and so forth that I've written, NPCs and what have you. I think we can sort of move into character creation knowing that this is the place you're going to be. And we can correct anything that looks like it's not going to match up, or we can like work together to fix things so that it does, you know what I mean, and so forth. What was I going to say? There was another thing. I've been talking a lot.
Spaceships.
Oh, right. Yes. Spaceships. So as a group of, scoundrels, you gain access to a spaceship as a group, like together. Some kind of freighter. You know what I mean? Like a YT 1300 Millennium Falcon style, like beater, basically. Narratively, I'm going to make that ship in somewhat like disarray. Some kind of part is disabled, or there is some issue with it that means you can't get off planet until it's fixed. Just so that we can not just episode 1 get in ship, fly away. I have no prep for anything else. You know what I mean? Like that's just narratively, your ship is in some kind of trouble. And maybe it belongs to one of you, and the other 3 of you are locals. Maybe it belongs to 2 of you, and 2 of you are from here. You know what I mean? Like, we'll determine that as we go. But there is one ship between you, basically.
I'm
You
going
mean
to take
you've not-
this moment. I'm going to take this moment to repeat words that you yourself once said when Dave was our GM.
Mm-hmm.
Don't undermine your DM's hard work.
Yeah. Thank you.
Don't do it.
I am specifically, I'm specifically putting it out there that it's kind of a Star Wars meme, so to speak, that the ship is broken and we need to fix it before we can go somewhere. You know what I mean? Hyperdrive's broken. Oh, okay. That only happens.
You got to
every
do the first
movie.
planet before you get your ship back.
Yeah. You're muted, Andrew.
I like to 100% every planet before I move on to the next one. That's just
Yeah.
my own play style.
Yeah, but
Your
there's going to
mileage
be
may
some
vary.
Metroidvania elements.
Oh, okay. Well,
So
we have to
we
go
won't be
and then
able to
come
do
back.
everything?
Yeah, I don't have the grappling hook yet.
Yeah.
Shit.
The
Yeah,
other,
we won't have a force sensitive to go to
Mm.
the ruins until we go to the other planets.
makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah. The other thing that I should note is there is a space station above Vode that is called the Button, BUTN, which is I have an acronym for it, but I can't remember what it's an acronym for, so it's just the Button, which is sort of like a loading station for the Funglewood and the Fog. Like it's used as like a way station, like a trucker way station. Space station.
It'd be sort of like a port, right, or a harbor or whatever.
Exactly, yeah. Like a place to load and unload goods to bring to the surface or away from the surface.
So this might be it's more like a big Star Wars lore. I'm not actually sure on. Would our spaceship or most spaceships be able to just kind of go off a planet and fly through
Yes.
space, or
Yeah.
is it like shuttle up to the thing?
So
and then...
so most spaceships are capable of like atmospheric travel. Some are not. For instance, like spaceships the size of the Millennium Falcon are capable of landing on a planet, no problem. Like X-wings, whatever. But you can't land a Star Destroyer. They don't land. You know what I mean? Like they are built in space in shipyards, and they are not built to be in atmosphere at all. Those kinds
Right,
of
so
things.
probably like large freighter ships and stuff.
So like
never touch the
really
ground. They
sizable
always go.
freighters
Yeah.
will go to the way station. Yeah, the Button, the dock.
Yeah, imagine just not having to deal with the logistics of changing from non-gravity to gravity with like landing things and stuff. If
Well,
you just
exactly-
ignore it,
exactly,
it'll be so
right?
much easier.
Yeah, and Star Wars does kind of ignore it with a lot of their stuff, where it's like ships that should be in space are not going to be able to make atmospheric re-entry very well, like generally. But it's a sci-fi show, so we allied that. The smaller ships are capable of making landings, the larger ships are not. Generally, is the way
Gotcha.
that it's.
Thank you.
Yeah, Star Destroyers can land on a planet; they just can't take off again. They land very violently. Yeah. Okay, so on to the fun part: character stuff. What are people thinking? General concept-wise, and we can hone in on specific classes or what have you as we go. But I'm very interested in like party concept.
Well, Dave and I need to figure out a little
Okay.
territorial kind of situation here.
Yeah.
Say Gabe or Dave?
Dave.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
Gabe. I don't know you, but you and I are gonna have to fight day
That's-
one.
That's fine. You'll lose, but I respect the motivation. Nah, yeah, you two go ahead. That's easy. I can just watch that.
So I believe your
Bird
current
Wars,
dispute is about
strokes.
which one of you is going to play a droid and which one is not, right? So we're
I
gonna
mean,
have
it's not a dispute. It's a
you
but-
know what I mean, friendly dispute, right? Like decision.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't appreciate you coming back onto this show and immediately taking my niche. Okay?
C-3PO and R2-D2 kind of got along. Like
I
they
mean, this is the thing. You can have more than one droid. Also,
yes,
that is also
definitely
fine.
have
we're
more than one
we're
droid.
totally joking.
I know. I was just saying.
I was clarifying for chat in case they were like,
I just know that your thought was one or the other. You know what I mean? Was the general like thought pattern between you?
Certainly, I don't want to tread on Dave's concept. If we're both looking at droids, we don't want to end up both being the same kind of droid and all
Yeah.
this kind of
If
thing.
you're both super battle droids, it'd be kind of awkward, you know.
Or really awesome, and
Or
we
really-
high five
or-
constantly
yeah.
and blow everything up.
Or really awesome, yeah.
Roger.
Yeah. My whole campaign
Yeah.
just turns into battle droid quotes, yeah.
I didn't get to concept stage. I was doing, do I play a droid because I like robots? Or do I not play a droid because I feel like I'm typecasting myself because I always play robots?
I
or
think
skeletons, which are also robots. I think.
I think, Dave, you should ignore the idea of typecasting because it's a matter of preference, right?
Yeah.
What chat wants from you is irrelevant. Sorry, chat. It doesn't matter. It's what Dave wants to do, right?
They'll eat anything you serve.
Yeah,
It's fine.
yeah. You make something, they'll like it. Don't worry about it.
Yep.
Want to know why, Dave? Because they like you.
Aw.
Someone said something weird, Dave. If you don't want to play a droid, play a Jawa. I have no idea what the hell that would be like, but then you can say whatever you want.
Well, I made a suggestion to Dave about the outlaw tech, for example, because they've played characters in the past that are very collect all the weird stuff and put it together and make a cool tech gadget thing, and that seemed to be pretty cool.
Yeah,
So-
like the idea of augmenting people's blasters and putting weird stuff on our ship so it can do things it's not supposed to
Yep.
is quite
all
appealing.
capabilities of the outlaw tech. But I let's go high concept before we get specific concept.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Does anybody have an idea?
So I know people have heard me say now several times that I have not decided which species I want to play because I have been basically since this game's conception stuck between two different species. And the reason why is because I know what I want my character's concept to be. The two species that I have chosen have historically within the context of Star Wars not been portrayed to be like the characters that have come from those specific species have not been good guys.
Sure.
They've been bad guys. Or eventual villains. And I like the idea of playing a character that comes from a race that has been kind of maligned as not being trustworthy or particularly well thought of, and
So-
basically being like, we're not all bad. Some of us pretty decent and actually, want to do good things. Like, subverting the trope that and the misconception that just because this person was bad doesn't mean I am too.
So what are the species, Aki?
Yeah, I have been looking at the Chiss and I have been looking at the Palawan.
They're both really cool.
Yeah. And they both have very interesting and very different things to offer. And the reason why I've been sort of stuck between the two is because when it comes down to it, I would like for them to be to serve the story and the party, the balance of the party. One of them is more of a talker, which are like the Palawan. The Palawan are kind of the great negotiators, whereas the Chiss, in my understanding, are slightly
Chiss are cold, logical, tactical, like very efficient species. Yeah.
so yeah, I'm kind of a
The Pawans, by the way, for those of you who don't, I know people know what a Chiss is, but Pawans are, if you've watched Revenge of the Sith, Utapau, the planet that Obi-Wan goes to searching for General Grievous, the person that he meets when he lands is that like gray skinned with the like high collar around their like face, says like we're being held captive here, like by the Separatists or what have you. That's a Pawan.
Yeah, and they also, I believe there was an animated, there is a character in one of the animated series, the Grand Inquisitor.
Oh yeah,
who is
yeah,
yeah.
Good call. I forgot about the Grand Inquisitor because I haven't watched a lot of Rebels.
I don't know what a Chiss is.
Chiss are blue-skinned,
Thrawn.
blue-skinned, red-eyed, black-haired humanoids.
If you know anything about Thrawn, that's a Chiss.
Yeah.
I don't, but
no.
Thrawn
cool.
is like one of the big villains of Star Wars, like the animated Star Wars series.
Yeah. Sort of
Okay.
a Legends character. Well, not Legends anymore, canon now, but he was the main villain of the like trilogy of books that was after Return of the Jedi, Heir to the Empire.
Okay.
I believe Jody Houser wrote a comic series about Thrawn.
Timothy Zahn was the first one to write Thrawn. But yeah, the Chiss are super cool. They're very like, Chiss are rare in that they are from like the unknown regions. generally the Chiss Ascendancy is like its own thing, and they like do their own thing elsewhere and don't interact with like the galaxy at large. It's only actually during this time period after the Empire when the Chiss Ascendancy starts getting involved in like galactic threats and so forth, because there isn't a unified big empire to defend the galaxy. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't exist. Yeah, that's they're both great choices. Are you waiting to see what other people pick and then like sort of go from there? Is that your plan?
That's kind of my plan, yeah, because I think that I have a strong idea either way on both of them, but when it comes down to like where the rest of the party falls, where I think that the balance will be. Because if we have somebody in the game who really wants to be like the talker or the face, I'd probably go with the Chiss. But if we have nobody who's like I'm really just not into being the social, then I'd probably play the Palon. The only reason why I'm kind of leaning towards Chiss at this point is because I play the face in the other game.
Yeah. Gabe, do you have any thoughts?
I didn't really think about like role. I was just picking what seemed cool. Like I went with species as a Mandalorian, leaning into like Cad Bane meets Bo-Katan.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. So you're doing like a kind of a Mandalorian-esque bounty hunter thing.
Yep.
I think that's a perfect role for someone to play.
Yeah, and I leaned more into like some of the melee stuff instead of like just being ranged.
Cool.
Yeah.
I will tell you that on Vode, melee will be useful because shooting into fog is a huge disadvantage because of visibility.
People's elbow.
They give him the people's elbow. Yeah. All right, cool. So we've got kind of like a like guns and melee bounty hunter, bring them in, cold or warm kind of character.
I think I went with Gadgeteer too.
Gadgeteer, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
How far have you gotten?
I was using a thing that Elf sent me.
The Og Dudes character creator makes it very easy. Do you have a character?
It really helps if someone does that. Though.
Have I assigned you a character sheet?
No, I think I need one.
Let me grab that for you. So I think we need to break the Andrew Dave deadlock here, and make a choice on who wants to do what. Not that it's like one or the other. You can both do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't, you know what I mean?
Well, I was thinking of being a, whatever the case, whether I'm a droid or something else, of being a former Imperial person.
I like that.
Someone who is kind of, who is in this place and still carries a bunch of the bearing and snootiness as if they are in charge, but aren't really anymore.
So they like used
and
to
is
be
needing
on
to
Vode.
come to terms with that.
So like used to be on Vode when the Empire was running it, but the Empire pulled out.
Yeah,
and
probably
left them behind.
Was part of the supply chain for getting the fog condensed drug off the planet and stuff, but now it's just kind of here.
Interesting. Interesting. I like that.
I was looking at the different kinds of droids. There's like a
sheet
T series something, which are droids that specifically fit that snooty kind of. They think they're the best droids, and they kind of try and like use authority on all the other droids, and sometimes it messes up like actual things and stuff. So they seem pretty cool. I can't remember where that was. I'll try and find it again.
Are you referring to the commander droids, the ones that like run the separatist like stuff? Because they're like general droids, so to speak, that the separatists used. But they're kind of old hat at this point. I mean,
T-type tactical droids.
I mean, it sounds like you have a concept, Andrew, either way. So Dave, like, do you have any thoughts about like what you want to be doing or like what kind of character you want to be playing?
Yeah, I want to be doing like the technology stuff.
Okay, so you want to go like technician, like one of the
technician or like technician/pilot or something like that. I don't know who else was thinking about pilot stuff.
Any class is capable of taking out of class skills. It just costs a little more XP. Just so you know.
Is there anything that's like kind of more of like an information gatherer type?
There are talking characters like the Politico colonist, or the there's the explorers like Scout or Fringer.
Ooh, I like that.
Those kinds of like wilderness related characters. Like the Scout talent tree has at the beginning of it like adding to stealth checks, getting better shortcuts during chase scenes, that kind of stuff, like disorienting people, foraging for things, that kind of thing for scouts.
I kind of like the idea of going in a kind of scouty direction.
And then Fringers have the old like street smarts related stuff and astrogation and like galaxy mapping stuff and that kind of thing.
Cool. All right. I think that's an interesting direction to take either one of the characters I'm playing in.
Sure. Yeah.
More exploration based, navigational type stuff, either on ground or in the air. So we have it.
Once everybody's got like a species and a concept nailed down, then we can start talking more about the specifics. But I want to make sure that like we don't leave anyone behind when I start giving out the specific. This is how you do X or Y to like make this character stuff.
So do we have somebody here who's like really wanting to be like the point man for social conversational type stuff? Or
I mean, it sounds like Andrew's character is going to be a super snooty social type.
It doesn't mean I'm necessarily good at talking to people.
No, but it does mean your class is probably towards that direction.
Somewhere in that direction. So yeah, I think like splitting it would make a lot of sense in terms of like maybe in some contexts my concept would work better for it, but
like
others.
I could see Andrew's character concept being like a smuggler type, like because smuggler has thief, scoundrel, or pilot in it. Pilot probably not, but thief and scoundrel are both like within snooty post-imperial.
The other one I was thinking was being a doctor.
And doctor, yeah, colonist doctor, yeah.
I need chat's help because I've never felt so indecisive in my life over which one I should play. I honestly cannot decide. I'm usually really good at being like, this is what I'm gonna do, and like today it's not happening. Chat, help me, chat. You're my only hope. Do I play a Chiss or do I play a Powon? Help me. I'm looking at chat right now to get your opinion.
Chiss or Powon, write it in chat.
If I end up playing a Chiss, I'll be another blue person.
And we got a lot of Chiss being said back to you. A couple Powon, Chiss, a lot of Chiss.
What stats would I want to be looking at as a outlaw tech?
As an outlaw tech, let me take a look. I think you're mostly looking at sort of intelligence and cunning as an outlaw tech. But all stats are useful to everyone, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, for sure.
But like outlaw tech specific stuff is going to be intelligence mostly, I think.
I think based on what I see in chat, Chiss seems to have won out. Though Powon did give it a mighty.
Do you feel good about your coin flip, Aki? That's what I always.
I haven't actually flipped a coin.
No, but that's what I use chat for. Chat is my coin flip. Chat says Chiss. Do I feel good about Chiss? Then don't.
I think I do. I think I'm good with playing another blue boy. Yeshivon and this character could be friends.
All right,
because
Chiss.
They're blue uppity.
Chiss it is. So we've got a Chiss like explorer type. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, and I actually think that for a Chiss for this might end up being exactly right. Somebody who's kind of outside of the context and is only just sort of really being introduced into the politics of everything, versus the other person in the party who has like intimate inside knowledge of how everything works. I think that actually works really nicely.
Cool. So we've got Chiss Explorer, Mandalorian Bounty Hunter type. Are you actually like Mandalorian, or were you talking like I'm gonna need to figure out how Beskar works and shit? Because I haven't looked at it.
Gabe doesn't care about that.
All right, cool, great.
Well, what's the term of foundling?
Just because like the
I don't
other
have to be
side,
a foundling. I just don't wear Beskar.
I mean, you just don't have Beskar armor. The other side of like Star Wars is Jedi are a thing and Mandalorians are the other thing that is like a big monolith, you know what I mean? So I just didn't want to have to like jump into too much.
No. Gabe doesn't care about that, and it can literally be the kind of thing that like he's a Mandalorian, but he just looks like a human, so he doesn't necessarily talk about it. Blah blah.
Yeah,
blah.
I mean it's just human for Mandalore. That's what Mandalorians are basically.
Yeah.
What's the thing that makes Mandalorians special?
It's their culture, right?
Yeah.
It's the
They're just
the way that they go about things.
They get
This is
raised
the
like
way.
dope beast monsters. Like it's like, oh, the human raised in like South Dakota is chill, but the human raised on the Death Star does all the weird stuff. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. It's really like the only distinction between like a Mandalorian and
so
not.
weird.
And people are like adopted into the Mandalorian culture all the time. That's the whole foundling thing. It's like a part of their part of their culture.
So where do we go from here?
I mean, I'm still waiting on a Dave concept, like species. I need species and concept before I can move forward.
Yeah,
Because
to kind of break my decision between droid and not, I'm trying to work out what the derived stats are for the skills that I want. And I can't find somewhere that just like displays that.
What I can tell you is droids are more capable of being more specialized, but they will be worse at more. They will be really good at one thing, but bad at many other things. Whereas the biological races or species tend to be they have better base stats. They have more base stats, so they like across the board they're going to be slightly better at things.
Yeah, so if you want to be all-rounder, you go with the biological species.
If you want to be
you
more
want to be hyper-specialized,
all-rounder, the thing about species in this game, and the reason that I'm being like, I need you to choose your species, is because all the species get different XP because they start with different stats. So knowing where you start is important. Droids also start with the most XP, but instead of 2s across the board to start, they start with 1s across the board. So it's one of those things where it's like they are capable of being more specialized, but they are also more likely to be bad at certain things.
Cool. Well, I'm definitely going to be a droid.
Okay, you're going droid, Andrew?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm kind of imagining so you know the droid from Rogue One that the dude has where it's a reprogrammed Imperial droid?
The Imperial like enforcer droid, the Alan Tudyk droid.
Yeah, my character is like a smaller, less rugged version of
like
a
more
like
human,
a similar
like a
vibe.
more human-sized sort of like black chassis, like white Imperial insignia kind of stuff.
But like the same brand or the same factory made them, right? Like they have
AX
similar
security
head
droids.
shape and similar like torso and
I
stuff.
like that. Yeah, like just sort of a scaled down version of the K2SO. Yeah. I like that. Is your droid the kind of droid who wears clothing, or are you like a?
Yeah, I think so. I think not
like
a ton.
Yeah.
But that they probably have like a article of clothing related to a trade or profession that they wear as an affectation now.
Yeah,
that they're kind of their own person. They get to do that.
I like that. Yeah. And it makes sense that they might be left behind because the Empire are gross and don't think about their
they just like discard
assets left behind. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, Dave, droid or not droid?
Not droid.
Not droid. What are we going for?
I kind of want to be. You said cunning, so I'm a little bit.
Intelligence is your main, but cunning probably is like your secondary if there was one.
Oh. What's this one? I want to be a Mon Calamari.
A Mon Calamari? Awesome.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, Mon Cal. All right, I like it. So we've got droid. Are you going colonist or doctor, Andrew? Is that your plan?
Yeah, I think I'll go colonist doctor.
Okay, so we've got a droid doctor, a Mon Cal outlaw tech. Is that correct, Dave? You think? A Chiss. You want to go Fringer or Scout? Probably. Aki. Is there?
I know that Scout would probably be helpful most helpful for us right now.
Traversing the wilderness of road will be a thing for sure.
Yeah, but I think that given the origin of of my character, the Fringer is actually probably going to fit them better.
Fringer it is. And then we've got a bounty hunter Gadgeteer Mandalorian. Is that correct? Ooh, I like this roster. This is a fancy roster.
So, as a Gadgeteer, do you fix your own gadgets and stuff? Do you mod your own weapons yourself?
I'm gonna look.
You're muted, Gabe.
Is this a mechanical question or a narrative question?
So in the talent
Mechanical question.
in the talent tree for Gadgeteers, there is the ability to jury rig stuff, like choose one weapon, armor, or other item and give it a permanent improvement while it remains in use, kind of thing. But that doesn't mean it can't stack with outlaw tech doing more stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, because I would love to mechanically support you being a more cool and functional bounty hunter.
The idea of this
is
like
all I'm thinking.
the idea of this like Mon Cal bounty hunter tech squire for this like Mandalorian bounty hunter is kind of an interesting like dynamic, if you know what I mean.
Or like a Q James Bond
Yeah,
relationship where they're
exactly.
always breaking your toys and you're like, nah, please bring it back in one, please.
Fix that one.
Yeah. Yeah. This one's not working. It's like a knife snapped in half, hands it to the Mon Cal, like
Thank
You can fix this, right?
No, I like that. Okay, that's cool.
Grab it and check it.
Okay, first things that we need to do in terms of character stuff. If people want to open their character sheets that they've been assigned, if you don't have one, let me know. I think everybody has one. I believe, Gabe, yours is the Egg Hangus Etoy J1.
Got it.
Which you can edit to be whatever you want, obviously. I mean, first things obviously are, description and what have you, like male, female, what they look like, what their name is, that kind of stuff. But we can elide that for now if you want to wait until we've got more details. So forth. The next section would be like background stuff, like sort of where they're from and what their relation to everybody else is. Most of the backgrounds that are in the book are just general role-playing prompts, role-playing guidelines, if you know what I mean, which for our current like situation, most of you know how to roleplay and what history of characters is and so forth. But if you need inspiration in the books, in the ones that you have, there should be like a series of backgrounds. Feel free to look at them or not as you'd like. It's not an essential part of what we're doing. But one thing we do need to come up with for every character is their obligation. So there is a thing in Edge of the Empire where each character has an obligation, and the obligation is something that can in some way always be present in your character's mind. This is like for Han Solo, it was paying back Jabba the Hutt, for example. You know what I mean? Like, this is a thing they needed to do. And that eventually came back to haunt them because they didn't do it, you know? Every character has an obligation. There is a list of obligations if you want to go off the list. The list is addiction, betrayal, blackmail, bounty, criminal, debt, duty-bound, family, favor, oath, obsession, responsibility. But an obligation can be anything you can justify to me that would ruin your day if it came back to haunt you. You know what I mean? Like something that you need to pay credits towards, or something that could negatively affect you if it came up during a session or whatever. Because at the beginning of every session, I'm going to roll a D100. And if your amount of obligation comes up on that D100, during that session, you will take negatives to your stats because you are worried about this obligation. And it might actually come into like the story. Like I might introduce a bounty hunter if you're being chased, and they might, find you out in the wilderness or whatever because I've rolled this obligation, so forth. One of the mechanics with obligation is that you can pay to have more obligation to start with slightly more XP. But there's only a certain amount of times we can do this because I don't want to have your obligation be like 80. Because if I'm rolling a D100 and it comes up every time, it's really, really boring. As a group, I would say if you want to, you all start with 10 obligation base. So when I roll a D100, anything 40 and below is going to hit one of the characters, 1 to 10, 10 to 11 to 20, you know what I mean, like so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And you can For 5 obligation, you can either start with 1,000 plus credits or 5 plus starting XP. And I will let each of you increase it by 5 if you want to, but no more than that, basically. So you can start with more money. You can come back to this if you want when you're like, I need to buy this blaster rifle and I don't have enough money.
Yeah, that's
you know
probably
what
I'll end up doing.
But I would think about what your obligation is going to be. In terms of like, what is the thing that makes this character an Outer Rim character, you know, and like in trouble or, you know, duty bound to some organization or, you know, so on. Because that'll be an important point.
Does anyone have an idea?
Is there a place where we can access like that list of things that you were just talking about?
It's in the book, which
it's on page 48.
On page 48, yeah.
Or sorry, 39. Page 39 of the book.
Because I was feeling like, because it says you can just roll it on the table.
Yeah, if you want to just
feeling like I might just want to roll it on the table.
If you want to roll the dice on the table, you're welcome to do so.
Okay. Am I allowed to roll the dice on the table, and if I don't like the outcome, change it?
Yeah, I'll give you 2 rolls. You can also just pick. So, you know, I'm just helping you here. Like, do some rolls and we'll see what we get.
I know what I want mine to be.
Andrew, you want to go first then?
Well, yeah, unless we want to focus on Dave rolling the die here. But
please go.
I want to go with family.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's that there are like I'm not the only droid that got left here. There are a bunch of us, and we're all in various states of kind of decay and disrepair because we can't get the parts we need because it's all from factories that you can't. Yeah, you know exactly. Yeah. Like, and so there's this kind of like
responsibility of your character to like oversee that kind of.
I mean, they're a doctor, and now that they are kind of self-aware enough to make these types of assessments, they apply their imperative around helping organic life to the robots that they are friends with as well. And so they're trying to like take care of and fix up and care for all of these essentially, like they're all like old timers basically.
Yeah,
it's like I have a bunch of like geriatric droids that I am taking care of and helping.
I love that. No, that's great.
Facilitate.
A family obligation for an old Imperial droid is pretty awesome. Dave, do you want to roll on that table?
Yeah, I will do. Just give me 1 second. I was just reading some stuff.
Of course.
Yeah. So I was just thinking, with your obligation like it is, I'm sensing this the kind of 3-pronged at the moment, until in my head I brought Aki's character in. That you are super into that. I feel like I want to help you, even though I'm supposed to be going with Gabe's character, and I'm trying to make the case, even though actually you just want to play with the droids. They're like, you're a doctor, so you could also help. So I'm trying to mush you together so I can do 2 things that I'm interested in at the same time.
I do love the character relations are already coming into it, but let's get through the creation before we get
because I don't know yet who or what I want to be connected to. I need to figure out this stuff first. Sorry, I just pulled up the Dropbox. Which book is the obligations in?
Edge of the Empire Core. It's the only book you'll need.
I don't see the core book.
Yeah, because we're all reading the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, Edge of the Empire core rule book.
I've rolled Betrayal.
Betrayal.
Ooh, that's a spicy one.
What does it say in the box text, Gabe? Dave?
This obligation can work in one of two ways. Either the character is the target of a deep and personal betrayal, or the character is the one who betrayed others.
Maybe it's the Mon Calamari government. Are you like related to the New Republic in some way? Like the Mon Calamari is like a central New Republic center, if you know what I mean. Is like just a suggestion. Or maybe
because they like backed the rebellion,
or
right?
maybe they did. They backed the rebellion. The major rebellion ships are all Mon Cal cruisers.
I think if the rest of the party doesn't mind,
Okay.
maybe there was a ship that was supposed to be decommissioned, and now it's on Vode instead of in a scrapyard, and that was probably my fault.
Right, like this is how we got the ship, is that you stole it?
Yeah, I stole it from the government. Are we into that? Unless anybody else wanted to be the one who brought the
No, I
ship.
like that. You stole like a Mon Calamari freighter or something from like the New Republic government, and that's your betrayal. That's gonna like come into things. I like that.
I'm down. It makes sense that like the tech person would be the one who has the ship, right?
Yeah.
Or who's
And,
responsible for the ship.
I keep saying, I don't own it. It's ours, right?
Yeah, it's
because
ours.
I feel
we all
really guilty
collectively
about
own
trying
it.
to push it on everyone. This is everyone's fault, not just mine. You're guilty by
Association.
association.
We're all accomplices, yeah.
Yeah.
As a bounty hunter, that's going to be a weird conversation. You realize, right?
I mean, you needed a ship to get to all your bounties.
there's
And then there just is one.
who's to say I didn't already have a ship? Like
Wow.
that.
I
that
mean,
is- that is-
I just love
the
that. No
the
matter
narrative
what,
does basically at this point say that you probably
we
don't.
if it comes down to Dave, we've always come by something slightly in a slightly shifty way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind, Gabe. If you would like it to be your ship that we're working on.
No, if I would just say if there's a stolen ship, I would have wanted my character to arrive there separately in some way.
I mean, we can set it up, and don't worry about that. And the other thing is like, Dave's an outlaw tech specialist, so it's it's possible that the ship doesn't look stolen
No,
because
that's fine.
of transponders and whatever you know what I mean.
It's the morality.
Sure.
Mhm.
That's why it's a
No, I
conflict.
got
If
you.
I'm a bounty hunter. Why am I not hunting you down for a government that would offer me money?
I mean, if there's no bounty,
Maybe, they haven't put the bounty out, so it's not really a crime,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I know, but I know, and then I can make money.
But I'm more useful to you as your technician than I am the credits that I would be worth from the government.
I love that I'm gonna have to come up with like a Mon Calamari ship that is like the size of a small freighter, but I'm not really sure about my Mon
It'd be
Calamari
like a
ship,
little
so-
baby fish.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to coming up with that. That'll be fun. Anybody else got an obligation? Gabe, you got an idea for what kind of obligation you want to run under?
Yes, I did. I just wrote it down. Unfinished business.
Oh.
So the character's working on a long-term project, complex, blah blah blah, personal or commission work. I like the idea that I claimed a bounty. After I claimed the bounty, I learned that there was someone else involved, but they weren't listed. So like technically the bounty is done, but like I know it's not done. And that means that there's still something.
I see. It's like a long-term bounty that you like hunted and couldn't get, basically.
Well, I'd say like there was a bounty for one person that had did a crime, and I caught the person, but after I caught them, I found out they had a partner, and the partner was never listed.
Okay, so it's like the crime isn't over even though there's no bounty, so you feel like personally
Yes.
responsible for it. Got it.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I like that. That's good. Yeah, no, cool. I like
One
it.
who got away.
And
No.
lastly, we have the wonderful Aki's obligation for her chiss, or their chiss. Sorry.
I think I might roll for it too.
Yeah, hit it up. You get 2 rolls. I'll give you 2 on the random. If you don't like the first one, roll it again.
Cool.
71.
71. Let me see what that one is. Let's see. Do. I'm gonna roll one more time and see how I like that one.
Sure.
If I like it better. What's that one?
35.
35.
Crime time.
Criminal. Oh.
Or are they? I don't know the gender of your character. Are they?
Yeah, it'll be they them.
Are they a chiss criminal? Are they fled the ascendancy? I mean,
It'd be interesting.
The ascendancy is well known for its authoritarian, rather strict, no outsiders, don't leave, don't go, don't stay. Like, you know what I mean? Kind of policy.
Like the idea of them being considered a criminal, not actually being one.
I mean, being a criminal in one government is not the same as being a criminal everywhere, obviously.
I have a feeling that as somebody who plays a Fringer and is more of an exploratory character, the idea that I'm not allowed to leave and I'm not allowed to, canoodle with outsiders, and I'm not allowed to like do this and I'm not allowed to do that wouldn't sit well with my character. And they'd be like, screw you, I won't do what you tell me. And it's maybe some sort of like freedom fighter or like, dissident within that society and had to run away in order to not like I like to think of them as maybe the Malcolm X of their culture.
The Chiss ascendancy is a very strict hierarchical system generally. And they have
makes sense why
sort of
these kinds of characters.
like a Byzantine structure, in the way that they let people do things or not. So yeah, having fled the Chiss ascendancy, you'd be a criminal anyway to them. You know what I mean?
Neat.
So yeah,
you're like I ain't gonna do what you tell me.
We can definitely do that.
Yeah.
Some issues.
It's like we've got three kind of anti-establishment characters in mine, yours, and Andrew's, and then Gabe's character is just kind of like, oh, I've picked up all this baggage.
Well, this is the thing. They're not necessarily anti-establishment.
No.
They're just anti-Chiss.
They're just the anti-Chiss
establishment.
ascendancy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like that's a very different thing than whether or not they're like that for everything. I want to put it out here like right now that my character is probably going to be a lot more morally inclined towards good than Yeshvan is. Not that Yeshvan is necessarily morally bad. They're very fluid. Their morality fluid is what I will call Yeshvan.
Now that we have obligations, let's take our break here, and we'll come back and do the more like nitty gritty stats, details kind of stuff when we get back. So don't go anywhere, my dear friends, my dear viewers. We'll be back very shortly to look at some character sheets in specific. See you soon. Back from our break, all of us here, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, to do the mechanical portions of this character creation. Let me take us over to the game playing screen, where I will have to redo the cameras again, but don't mind that while I fix it. Okay. So the major thing that you guys are all going to need to first think about is input the base stats for your species, basically. Like everybody's gonna have like a baseline that they start with, and that baseline might not necessarily be the same across the board. In fact, it most certainly won't be, because that's just how the system works. So you should see on your character sheet, I will open one so that I can go along with you here. You should see on your character sheet that there is there's a dice pool, the destiny pool, then a wounds and strain and stuff section. Then just under that, there's character info, skills, combat, item inventory, critical injuries, drop downs. In the skills tab is where you see your characteristics, which you should be able to input the base characteristics for whatever it is that you're playing at the time. Hopefully everybody's following along with what I'm saying. I'm not entirely sure. So if you input the base and you keep in mind the amount of XP that you get as whatever species you've started. Oh, this is the wrong thing. As whatever species you've started with. Please keep that in close mind, because that's part of the next thing we need to do. So while you're building a character for this game, oh my god, I keep adding the wrong thing while I'm trying to talk and do stuff at the same time. Okay, not that. This. Okay, good. All right. While you're building a character for this game, the main thing that you need to know is you can't buy, what do you call it? Oh my god, my brain.
Characteristics?
You can't buy characteristics except for at character creation. So if you're going to up your characteristics, you want to do it here, basically. So if you want a 4 in something or a 3 where you don't have one or whatever, this is the time to do it. You can't go above a 5, I think, in character creation, and a 5 is excessive, let me tell you.
I don't know if I can afford it. Afford to.
Yeah, so the way that it works characteristic-wise is it costs 10 times what you're going to, basically. So, like, if you're going to a 4, it costs you 40 XP. If you're going to a 2, it costs you 20 XP. If you're going, so on and so forth for forever and ever. Your class should also give you a bunch of class-specific skills that you are trained in, and that doesn't mean you have points in them, just that they are your class skills. And you should tick the boxes in your skills section under your characteristics that are for those class skills. Trying to do multiple things at once is burning my brain out.
Don't worry, it's cool. We're following along.
Poor brain.
Everybody with me so far?
I think so.
Anybody lost? Anybody need extra info?
Just a quick question. Oh, sorry. Please
So
go ahead.
we tick one more in anything that we already have, anything that our gives us a bonus in, correct?
No, you don't take any points. If I don't know what Watsits you're referring to.
Yeah, I'm just, so for example, my spec bonus career skills are I would click the career box on those. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, tick the career box on the career skills. Yes.
Yeah, so everything I have for being a colonist as well as everything I have for being a doctor.
Yeah, precisely.
Are all career skills, and I check the box for all.
Check them both, check the boxes. Yeah. So you've got your base class and your extended class, so to speak.
Yeah, if we double up, do you get any flex points, or is it just
you get a point in it? If you double
if it
up.
overlaps?
Yeah,
okay.
if it overlaps. I believe that's how it is. I'm sure somebody will correct me if not, but I remember.
Oh, I get to be cool.
I remember that being the case.
Oh, look at that! Look at that dice and mechanics. Feels good. Yellow dice. Love it.
Sorry, chat, for you having to see all this camera work this is what I do behind the scenes before we start every time, but we didn't have everybody, so I couldn't.
Yeah,
do it.
it's session 0. This is why everybody expected you.
Quite, though. I mean, not exactly, but okay. So now that you have all those boxes ticked, the way that skills work leveling up is if it is a class skill, like a skill that you have the box ticked in, it costs you 5 skill points per level. So if you're going from 0 to 1, it costs 5. If you're going from 1 to 2, it costs 10. If you're going from 2 to 3, it costs 15, so forth, right? And if it is a non-class skill, it costs 5 more than that. So like if you're going from 0 to 1 and it's a non-class skill, it's 10. And if you're going from to 2, it's 15, so forth. Like it's 5 more than what it would be if it were a class skill.
And how much does it cost to buy an extra point in characteristics?
It's 10 times whatever you're going to. So if you're moving your characteristic from 2 to 3, it costs you 30 points. If you're moving your characteristic from 3 to 4, it costs you 40, so on.
Right, each step along the way. So if I want to go from 1 to 4, I have to spend 20 and 30 and 40.
40. Yeah, exactly, precisely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, enjoy your 10 XP left to do everything else.
Droids start with 175, so they have plenty, actually.
Oh, of course. You're going to become powerful.
Droids are the exception when it comes to XP. They get quite a lot.
Yeah, because you're kind of meant to
specialize.
Be able to specialize your build in a bunch of different ways. Because droids would be constructed for different things.
Yeah.
4 is the most you will ever need, but you can't go above a 5. 4 is like you are an absolute expert if you know what I mean, like in terms of the difficulty level of things generally. Because I'm generally going to roll 2 dice against you for a normal check. So rolling 4 dice is like, it's double the normal check, basically.
And you probably have 1 or 2 points in the skill as well.
The general advisory is, because you can't buy characteristics other than at the start, spend most of your XP in characteristics. Because the only other time you're going to get characteristics is when you get deep into your talent tree, and like at the bottom of the talent tree, there's like add 1 to any characteristic or whatever is like a thing.
Yeah, I just dumped 50 points so that I could bring my presence from a 1 up to a 3.
Yeah, there you go. There
Nice.
you go. Chiss presence is not their specialty.
It not great,
Yeah.
fam. It not great.
So once
You
everybody
do a quick outline, Elf, of what
Yeah.
each of the characteristics
Of course, yeah.
are good for.
Allow me to give you the rundown. So Brawn is your melee skill, first of all. Like it's your the thing that's going to be related to your melee combat, your unarmed combat specifically as well, is like a Brawn thing. Your agility is your ranged combat and other such things like coordination or piloting are going to be agility. Stealth is also agility based. It says on the side of the skill like what they correlate to as well. Intellect is your sort of medicine, mechanics, computers kind of skill. Your education, your lore is all intelligence, like if you want to go for that kind of stuff. Cunning is a lot of your deception, your perception, your skullduggery kind of skills. Like you're very like in the back of the smoky bar is like your cunning benefit. The other thing I think is cunning affects one of the cool and vigilance are the things that affect initiative. So cool is presence and vigilance is will. So those are your initiative related things. So cunning is sort of your smooth talking, your fast talking ability. Willpower is coercion, discipline, vigilance, these kinds of things. It also helps you resist like mental things a lot of the time. It's your willpower as you would suggest by like 5e standards. And your presence is a social skill mostly. So your presence allows you to use like negotiation well, and there's a couple of other things.
Charm, cool, negotiation.
Yeah, like your talking skills, sort of thing. So that's kind of like the basic rundown. The other thing is that Brawn relates to your wound threshold and your soak. Your ability to soak damage is related to Brawn. So like the way that combat works in this game and damage works in this game is you will take damage. You will reduce that damage by the amount of soak you have, which is like armor and armor and Brawn combined. So if you take 5 damage and you have 3 Brawn, you're only taking 2 damage, for example, if you're naked. So that's something to consider.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. I think I'm okay. I'm clarifying point buys because this is always the part that sort of trips me up about this particular. So I'm taking something from 2 green die to. Wait, I'm taking something from. So I have 2 green die in it currently.
Yeah.
To take it to 3 green die, I need to spend 30 points, correct? Not 30, 15.
It depends what.
Because it's something that's career. It's trained for me. So
okay,
it's part of my class.
When you buy a skill, okay. So here's the other thing I forgot to mention. Okay, so all of the green die are based on your stats, based on like that skill. So the green die will be like. If I have 3 intellect, I have 3 green die in astrogation, for example. When you buy a rank in that skill, it doesn't add a green die; it changes a green die to a yellow die.
That's what I meant. But what? How much does it cost to do that?
If it's a trained skill, each skill will cost 5 more than the last. So 0 to 1 is 5, 1 to 2 is 10, 2 to
3 is 15.
2 to 3 is 15. Yeah.
Okay, then I'm Good. Thank
Yeah.
you.
And if it's a non-class skill, it's 5
Then it's
more
10.
than it's 5 more than that. Yeah.
Worth
Cute.
noting for everyone. Remember, you get 3 ranks on some of your career skills.
Because of double ups, yeah.
If
Well,
if they
not just
double
that.
up,
Not just that. It says they may choose 4 of these things to gain a skill point.
yeah,
each
you
wow.
automatically gain
spending
1 rank in
experience.
4 of these skills
There you
of
go.
your choosing
Yeah.
without spending experience.
Okay.
Oh,
there you go.
is that the spec bonus career skill thing that I was saying, or before, or
For me, it's listed under like colonist.
Yeah.
It lists all the skills for colonist and then says I automatically gain 1 rank in 4 of those skills without spending experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slight
So, I think it's
misspeak
just for
by
your
me while I
core
was
stuff.
building stuff.
I'm gonna
Um,
have I'm sorry,
it's even
slightly
more
confused over
complicated.
here. So I'm just gonna be quiet and trying to figure this out, and then I'll
So it gets more complicated. So of the skills in your initial character type, so like for me, colonist,
Yep.
I get 4 4 ranks to spend amongst those initial skills, and then the bonus set that I get for being a doctor
You
specifically,
get 2 of those.
I get 2 to spend among those skills.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I was fixing cameras while we were talking about skills, so I should have been able to go over that.
It's
yeah.
really fiddly, but there it
You
is.
do get some free ranks based on skills from the base class and the specialized class. Yeah.
It's very 3rd edition feeling to me.
Yeah, it's got a bit of that vibe, huh?
Aki, you've got a face on that like.
I'm so lost right now, y'all. So.
Okay, let me help you. Okay, so go to the Explorer page in the book.
I have to find it first.
Okay, I will open it up here as well.
Okay, I found it.
Okay, so there should be a list of skills in Explorer on that
There are
page.
career skills, and then there are scout bonus career skills.
Correct. 1 second while I also get there so I can direct you. Looking for my scout specific stuff. This is hired gun.
Sorry, that was the scout. I'm not the scout. I am a fringer. Where is it? There it is. Nope, that's trader.
Explorer.
Maybe I need to scroll up, not down, because this is in alphabetical order, Aki.
Okay, so on the Explorer page, you have 4
There we go.
skills, additional skills. Explorer's 8 career skills are astrogation, cool, knowledge lore, knowledge outer rim, knowledge xenology, perception, piloting space, and survival. Are you seeing the same thing as me on the Explorer?
Yeah, I see it.
So
yeah.
you automatically gain 1 rank in 4 of them. So you choose 4 of those things and gain a free rank in it.
Okay.
Okay? So let me know when you have that done.
All right. Give me just a second.
Sure. It is a little bit fiddly, but I promise it'll make sense once we start doing stuff. It's one of those games where it clicks once you're rolling dice, very, very easily. Aki, is there something up?
No, I have to look at a lot of things. Looking
Yes.
at a lot of things. So I picked astrogation as one of them.
Okay.
And I picked knowledge outer rim as one of them.
Yep.
You
You have 2 more from that list.
yeah.
Perception is good.
Perception's
survival
probably not
is
a bad
survival
one.
is also great.
Yeah, I think since I'm taking and I would check career on all of these, right?
Yes.
Because they're
You would,
cool.
yeah.
Like all 8 of them I would
Correct,
check
yeah.
career on, and then I would take a
And then
free
you're
rank
taking a
in
free
4
rank
of them.
in 4 of them. Yes, correct.
Okay.
And everybody else is doing this with their
Coolio.
classes as well, which I assume you guys have seen. Gabe, give me a thumbs up if you're okay. You're with us. Good.
All
Dave,
right, so
Andrew,
yeah,
good.
it's going to be astrogation, knowledge, outer rim, perception, and survival for me.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So
I'm
now
playing your ranger, y'all.
now we go to Fringer, right? And there are 4 skills: astrogation, coordination, negotiation, and streetwise. You can take 2 of these. So these are all class skills, so you check them as career, right? But then 2 of them you could take a free rank in.
Cool. Thank you. Now I understand what
Okay.
I'm doing.
Got it?
There's one last caveat to that.
Yeah.
Which is that if anything from the first group is repeated in the second group, you get 1 free rank in it.
Yeah.
Yes, the doubling up.
Yeah.
So
But
technically I
they
get 2
don't-
ranks in astrogation if I chose it the first time and the second time?
Yeah.
Cool.
So, question for the group.
Mhm.
Is anybody planning on putting points into space piloting?
Not me.
I mean, not anytime soon because I know we're not doing it for a while.
Then I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take the rank in piloting instead of in perception.
I would recommend if you're doing piloting, maybe that piloting space be substituted for piloting like land vehicles.
Yeah, I
planetary.
stopped.
To start with,
Planetary.
I would be happy to substitute planetary space for planetary or for piloting planetary rather than piloting space.
Unless you were really wanting to do it, Dave, I'm happy to.
No, I was just generally wondering because
Yeah.
I know at some point we are going to fly a
The
spaceship.
other thing is
I can do it.
you will gain XP and you will be able to take more ranks and things and so forth. The other
There's
thing
nothing wrong with doubling up.
Yeah, also true.
the other thing is everybody will have duties on board a spacecraft in combat and out of combat. Such a thing, it's always better to have 1 or 2 pilots so that if one pilot is injured or whatever, like things can be done.
I'm also going to take a rank in streetwise.
Wonderful, a good choice.
Since like I said, I'm a Malcolm X punk. I need to be
Mhm.
streetwise.
One of the things. Okay, so that's good. We're set on the skills. Remember that another place you can spend XP is in your talent trees, my friends. The talent tree which I have shown, the talent trees which I have shown to you in my handouts. You should each be able to see the talent tree you've picked, basically, as well as everybody else's.
And they list little costs at the
And
bottom.
they have little costs for each node, and those nodes have to be filled in before you can go to the next node, for example. So, like, we have our Fringer tree here, for example. We would need to take Galaxy Mapper before we can take Skilled Jockey, for example. Or we need to take Street Smarts before we take Toughened, because these things are connected. Is the important part.
I am really enjoying having 3 yellow dice in mechanics without spending XP.
I mean, yeah,
Feels good.
that's your thing.
Yeah.
I only have medicine 1.
Yeah, but
Oh.
you can level it up.
I might level it up. I might not.
You're learning.
I also invested in
enjoy
having
it the same.
mechanics. I invested in mechanics 1 because that's like a new thing that I think my character needs to be learning in order to take care of droids as well.
For sure. Because I don't think we're starting this being like a well-oiled machine.
It doesn't seem
group.
like the 4 of you are going to be a unit to start necessarily. So we will see.
I can think of reasons why I would be acquainted with a lot of people already. So I'll
course.
try to make sure that I'm connected. I don't want to be
Yeah.
I don't want to have to meet in a tavern for the first time.
No, of
Oh,
course.
for
And
sure.
we're going to talk about. We're almost done with character creation. There's not much left to do. And then we can talk about the fun stuff like relating the characters to each other and naming them and so forth.
Okay, so if I have a question about
yeah,
the
of
like
course.
talent tree thing.
Please.
Do I have to fill out all of the ranks in a ranked thing before I can move down to the next?
I don't believe so. Let me look at yours specifically so that I know what I'm looking at.
Because there's
what are
one
you-
in mine called STEM application, which
Yeah.
would obviously be very appropriate given the
Yeah.
background we've described for my character.
Yeah. Take the stim application action. Make a regular medicine check. If successful, one engaged ally increases characteristics by 1 for 1 encounter and suffers 4 strength. Yep. Yeah, I see it.
But the one above it, Surgeon, which I need to get to unlock stim application, Surgeon is a ranked skill, so I can pay into it twice.
Yeah, no, you don't have to pay multiple ranks to, like, you can take 1 and then move on.
I can take 1 and move on, and then
yeah.
invest more in it later.
Yeah,
okay.
Correct, yeah.
Because that's just too funny. I have to be able to give people the drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm a lean into your world building here.
You got some history with the fog, you know? Colloquially named Fog of War, but everybody just calls it fog.
I mean, if it's prescribed by a doctor.
Oh, awful. Yeah, talents follow the lines from top to bottom, basically.
Yep. Okay.
Oh, Rafidane makes a good point here. We can't have any skill above rank 2 at the beginning. Rules is written, Dave, so it would be 2 yellow, not 3. Yeah. Sorry.
That's fine.
Rafidane is correct. They were the one who trained me in how to do this. So,
This is my disapproving look at you.
Yep.
But also, I've got a slight. smile on
Sorry,
my face
Dave.
Because I know you're right.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Yeah.
And is there a specific place where we? Oh, yep. Where we write down the skills that we've bought from our tree. I think
talents?
this question was literally just asked, and I missed it.
You will need to find a place on the character sheet that you want to write down what talents you have, because I don't know if there's a section specifically for it. The only thing missing from the wonderful Star Wars Edge of the Empire system sheets on Roll20 is talents, because they can't get the talent tree to like work properly, basically.
No worries.
You'll just need
I'll
to
just put
find
it
a
under
box.
custom skills, I guess.
Custom skills, or you can put it under like description
Notes
or
or
other,
notes or something.
Yeah, other somewhere, and just like list the cost and list what it is and stuff, so you know. Once everybody's comfortable with that, we can move on to equipment.
Yeah, sorry. I feel like this was discussed at the beginning.
What's up?
What are the derived skills?
You're gonna have
The derived stats like cool and wounds and strain and.
Oh yeah. So wounds are usually related to your your species. So your species will have an X number of wounds plus stat. And the plus stat for wounds is Brawn. Same thing for strain, I think. Let me check.
Gotcha.
Yeah, for me it was 10 plus brawn for wounds and 10 plus willpower for strain.
Yep, that sounds correct for everybody, basically.
Yeah, I think I've got the same.
I just wanted to make sure that I was correct.
Ooh.
Defense is not something you have to worry about because it's very specific. It increases difficulty against you, basically. Nobody has that to start with. And force rating you don't have to worry about. Soak is related to what armor you're wearing plus your brawn. So once we have equipment, we can talk about soak. And
then the cool and vigilance are.
So cool and vigilance are skills. So if you have ranks in the skills, you will have ranks in the initiative, cool, and vigilance. So
okay, and you choose which one you want?
No, you don't choose which one. It is dependent upon what the situation is. So cool is the initiative if you're ready to fight. Vigilance is the initiative if you're being ambushed, basically.
Gotcha. All right, thank you.
They are slightly different. Yeah. I hope that all makes sense. Once people are feeling comfortable with their XP, just let me know so that we can shuffle forward. Okay, Gabe's got a thumbs up on the XP.
I'm just still working on mine.
Yeah, no worries.
I was just a bit concerned that I wasn't putting any points in stuff like perception or stealth.
No, you're good.
Or cool
You're good.
or anything. Honestly,
Nothing
no, I'm
is
gonna suck in combat.
nothing is essential, and everybody has roles they can play in combat. Don't worry about that. It doesn't matter if you're a combat character or not. There will be things to do.
Like upgraded your blaster before, so that means I don't have to do any blastering by my own.
Specifically, the what do you call it? Initiative is really fun in this game because every player rolls initiative, but then they are just PC initiative slots, so any PC can take any of the PC initiatives in whatever order they want each time the initiative order goes. So if, like, let's say Dave's Moncal is in a really, really bad place, and Gabe rolls a really great initiative on their Mandalorian bounty hunter, Dave can take that first initiative slot to move out of the bad situation before the enemies get to do it, sort of thing. Like, each round...
Right, so you're good initiative, you're buying good initiative for your team.
You're buying good initiative for the whole team. Yeah. Basically. Yeah. Which is great. Yeah. As like a thing that's slightly different than sort of like the D&D that we've experienced. Yeah, you can use other people's initiatives to escape dangerous situations. And also do neat things like have your big fighter go last in one round and then have them go first in the next round to like double up the amount of damage you blast into a guy, for example.
I have 25 points left, and I'm not sure where to put them.
Enough for a 2 in a characteristic, or some skills, or some stuff in your talent tree. All available to you.
Yeah, talent tree wouldn't be super exciting. So maybe I'll bump another thing to 2. Maybe I'll have 2 willpower as well and just have agility be my only stat at 1.
Dump stat, yeah.
Which makes sense. I'm a robot. I'm not necessarily light on my feet.
Yeah, Andrew, for your character, you mentioned your family of other droids. How invested are you in like keeping them in scenes and stuff? Because I have an ability called Speaks Binary, which can grant boost dice to NPC droids. Like if we're trying to get them to do stuff.
I mean, they're in there to be my obligation, right? Which I assume means that they'll mostly be a source of
woe.
Trouble rather than like useful or like helpful for fighting. Like they're definitely not.
That is correct. They are not going to be your.
They're not like a gang.
They're not going to be your hit squad. It's not gonna happen that way.
So yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about boosting them up.
Marina Conrad, low agility from the Imperial Rod, like.
Yeah, the Imperial stick up my ass. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Why would I move quickly? I'm too snobby for that.
So snobby. All right, are we looking good XP spread wise, friends? People got like most of what they want, or if not, noted down what they have left.
Is leftover XP okay?
Yeah, it'll sit. You can use it whenever you want on the between times. It's okay. There's no like you level up situation. There's just slowly growing and buying skills.
You get more XP and then spend it as you go. Okay.
And like I'm not going to be giving out large portions because we only have 3-hour sessions. It's going to be sort of like 5s or 10s. You know what I mean? So having extra and building up to things is part of it.
I may as well put this into something, and my options are cool, negotiation, or streetwise.
Cool is nice for initiative. It's like a straight initiative bonus to yellow.
Let's do that because that's good for the team, right?
Yeah, it is. It's good for the team because the initiative helps everybody.
Well, I love you all so much. We'll spend points to help you.
How much ranged, heavy, and melee did you take, Gabe?
Not a whole bunch. So I have 1 rank in ranged light, but I have the 3 slots in light and heavy.
Oh yeah, very nice.
I don't remember the words for it. That's not rank.
Like you mean like a skill choice, basically?
Yes.
It is a rank, basically. Yeah, a rank in it. 1 upgrade in it. You know what I mean? Like a yellow.
Yes.
Is good. Okay. Equipment. Are we good to move on? Anybody need and a little extra time? No. Yes. Thumbs up. Thumbs down.
I'm still doing it, but I'll do it as you go through.
Okay. All right. You're good for me to just like move on, Dave.
Yes.
All right, so stuff you want to know about equipment. You have 500 credits to spend. I am going to give you all 2 free stim packs. You all get.
Love a stim pack.
Andrew, you can replace yours with emergency patch kits if you'd rather have like robot specific stuff.
I'll go 1 and 1 if that's okay.
1 and 1, yeah, that's fine. So all of you take 2 free stim packs. I will allow that. That's just for healing, emergency healing, and having to pay for that really sucks. So you all have 2 free stim packs and also 1 free comm link each. Basically, you all have the ability to talk to each other, and I'm not going to make you pay for it.
Mine's built into my head.
Yay! You should be able to note these things down in your item inventory. Which
Yeah,
is
I'm just
a
making
tab.
notes in other gear for now.
Yep. So stuff you want to be looking at are weapons and armor for the 500 credits that you have left over, which is your starting money. Remember, you can extend it to another 1,000 credits if you want, but it'll cost you another 5 obligation, basically. So you will be more indebted to your obligation if you decide to extend for a little more money. And all of that stuff can be found in the book, in the items sections of the book, weapons and armor. There's also, if you want a quick weapons reference, there's one in the quick references for weapons in particular. Weapons reference, it has all the melee and ranged weapons in it. So, if you want to buy a blaster pistol, it's 400 credits. This is most of your credits. If you want to buy a blaster rifle, you probably need to extend for that sweet, sweet loan, so on. Does anybody have any list of stuff that they're buying or stuff that can fill the air while people purchase? Gabe, do you know what you bought for your bounty hunter, or are buying?
Climbing gear, and I am actually leaning into the what was the freaking word? The obligation.
Yep.
And then using that to get bonus to credits.
Okay, so you're taking an extra 5 obligation to get 1,000 credits bonus. So I see, climbing gear here. Wonderful.
Yep. Climbing gear, and then infra binoculars, actually.
Ooh.
So see through.
Can see through walls. Awesome.
2 meters of wall.
Yeah.
And I figure, especially if this place is going to be misty and foggy, that's going to be one of the best things.
Yep.
Because then being able to see through that mist and fog. And then just a blaster pistol.
And just a blaster pistol, the old C-Def blaster pistol.
Yeah.
I like it. It's a little bit on the weak side, the C-Def, but it'll do. It'll do for now.
That's fine. I like that it has a stun setting. That was part of the reason I was like, okay, this is
take him in alive. Got it.
Yeah, this is fitting, and then I can just punch him in the face.
Anybody else have any stuff that they're looking at, going, "Ooh, I'm buying this," or "I'm going for this"?
I'm sure there's
definitely.
a packet, but
Right now, I'm looking at armor because I don't know if my baby is a punchy baby, so I need to make sure that they're a well-protected baby first.
Soak, yeah. I think there's heavy clothing, which can give you a 2 soak, or
armored clothing, which costs
clothing.
$1,000.
Yada.
Gives you defense 1, soak 1.
Do I need more obligations?
Defense 1 actually makes it harder to hit you, which is very valuable. So that soak is less because it also defense. Does the game let you loot enemies' weapons? Or enemy equipment is available to you. You kill a stormtrooper and take his blaster if you want to. I like to play my tabletop RPGs the way that they would play out. Things don't disappear like an MMO, just from the ground. But you'll have to worry about how you're going to carry whatever it is you pick up as well.
I don't know if I want to burden myself with another obligation. The fact that I'm on the run is already pretty. But go ahead. What is your suggestion?
Can I recommend a nice cheap 250 credit slug thrower rifle or slug thrower pistol? They're not strong, but they do, ranged projectile fairly well as like a, you know.
It still
Yeah.
shoots bullets.
Yeah, you're shooting
That-
bullets rather than lasers, you know, Tusken
Yeah.
Raider style. But
I'd do that plus some heavy clothing, maybe. Spend 300 of my credits on that.
yeah, 300 credits on heavy clothing. I like.
Sorry, heavy clothing is only 50 credits.
Oh, 50 credits. Okay.
But in total with a slug throw, it would be 300.
Slug thrower
that I'm
rifle,
spending.
300 credits, which means you have 200 left. Keep in mind, feel free to spend it. I'll convert it to Utico trade shit if you want. I'm not gonna be like, you have Imperial credits left. They're worthless. I'm not gonna do that.
Cool.
But
That's good.
you know, feel free to look through the equipment and stuff if you want in your free time as well.
So I'm gonna buy a med pack,
Okay. Yeah.
which is like a significant thing. Costs 400 credits.
Yeah.
It's like your full medical setup.
Medical gear. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like an emergency version, which is like a first aid kit or whatever, and then there's this one, which is
Which is the full suite.
the
So
real
it's-
deal.
yeah.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on a weapon, or if any, Andrew?
I took a point in brawling.
Oh, you took a point in brawling. Okay, so you're just gonna like
So I'm mostly just gonna punch things.
robot punch. Okay.
Yeah, the Robo Punch is pretty good.
Yeah.
I might integrate something into my Robo Fist if I can afford it. Let me take a look.
How about you, Dave? Any equipment currently purchased?
I just finished spending my skill points.
Oh, okay.
I have a lot of talents.
Wonderful.
I will also buy brass knuckles.
Okay.
But I think it's just that
Just that you punch hard.
I have scavenged some hardening materials to affix to myself.
Robots punch. Yeah.
Got to protect these delicate surgeon's hands.
A
Elf.
delicate surgeon's hands, giant robot punch. Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I love it.
Also work as defibrillators in a pitch.
I mean, yeah, that would be the joke with the shock gloves, right?
Yeah. The shock gloves. Yeah.
I really expected there would be some kind of just like repair kit thing, but I guess that's kind of my skills.
I mean, there's droid like patch kits, which are like
Yeah.
stim packs for droids.
Yeah, which I have one of, so like if I get banged up, we can use mine. I'm not worried about
Okay.
that.
There's also a toolkit. Yeah, Rafidane mentioned.
I
that
guess
you
I haven't got to that.
So that you actually have like the tools that you need, like the hydro spanners and so forth, to do
Gotta have that hyper spanner
to
or
do
whatever.
to do the work. Yeah.
I wonder if I need that since I have a bunch of routine stuff. So I don't know if I actually
mean,
need tools.
Narratively, you will still need tools to do things. Yes.
Okay. I'm buying some.
Highly recommend tools is a person who needs tools.
That's a bunch of my credits, and I'll just mess around with the rest, I guess.
Yep, I would definitely think about any kind of soak that you can get with armor or a weapon. Would be my suggestions.
Yes.
500 is not a lot. So who extended their credit line? Gabe did, but did anybody else for obligation extend for extra money?
Not as yet.
Not as yet. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna stay put on the money I have spent.
Yep. All right.
I'll
Aki,
get
are
some heavy
you-
clothing and be done, I think.
Okay. Aki, are you good on the credits?
Yeah, I think I'm good. I have some left over that I'll figure out what I want to do with. at some
Yeah,
point.
yeah, no worries, of course. We're in the back end of the stream. Another 30, 40
Gosh.
minutes to go.
I hope it doesn't mind.
What I'd really what I'd really like to do with that last little bit of time while people are like just polishing off the details is we need names for all the characters. Of course, they need names so that we can then relate them to each other and the world as they see fit. We were already having some very fun, like, these characters are gonna be interacting in this way sort of stuff going on, but I wanted to get through the nitty gritty before we got like deeply into that. So I think names are the first important thing. I see that Gabe has already named his character sheet. So Gabe, you want to introduce us to, like, give us a brief description of and introduce us to your Mandalorian Gadgeteer?
Yeah, so this is Krino Valis. They enjoy working with gadgets, anything that they can find, and pretty much anything can be a weapon if you're smart enough about it. They are a bounty hunter, they are a gadgeteer, but one of the most important things is not just money. Sometimes it's about new tools. They might take on a bounty if the reward is something from someone's workshop or experimental technology. That might be even more valuable. He doesn't necessarily have a single alliance to right and wrong, but he does follow a code similar to what many Mandalorian go with. He does enjoy a challenge, and the concept of danger is fun, but he's not stupid.
All right, he sounds awesome. It's a he/him, right?
Yep.
And physical. Can you give me like a brief physical description? Like, what do they look like?
Yeah.
Because you know the fan artists are gonna want to know.
Yeah. No, I got you. I wrote this down. Where the hell did I? There we go. So there's like a small twist of braids inside of the helmet. The hair is red. He's relatively muscular, so you can tell that like he was someone that did go through physical exertion often and maintains that. So like the red hair, his eyes are actually probably like a slight orange, almost like, think like the dirt and dust of Mars, I'd say.
Okay, yeah, like a red orange, yeah.
Yeah. And there is like, it's not the clean shaven, but it's like the shadow just coming back in.
Oh yeah, like the facial hair kind of thing.
Yep.
Like you got a 5 o'clock shadow thing kind of going on.
Yeah. I'd say that there's probably a tattoo on his back. I don't know what it is yet, but something.
Maybe something Mandalorian, you know?
Yeah.
What kind of clothing do they wear? Like armor or like?
So he is gonna wear.
I'm gonna ask all of you these questions, by the way.
That's fine.
Yeah.
He is wearing like the padded armor, so it's something heavier. I think it's tones of like red and black.
Yeah. Just for your illumination, the Utico specific company colors are like dark blues and blacks, just in case anybody's interested in that. But so you were saying like red and black sort of go with the like orange hair and go with the red hair and go with the orange eyes. Yeah, I like that. I like that. And you have a blaster pistol, right? So it's just like a sort of gunslinger holster or something.
Yep,
yeah.
Gunslinger holster, probably right on the hip. Definitely enjoys being up close and personal, but has no issue using the blaster pistol.
Sure. Sort of a brawler, but with like a short range ranged weapon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Got you. I like it. So Krino Valis. I'm correct in that pronunciation, right?
Yep.
Does anybody else have a name or a designation for our droid? If there's something you want to go with, anybody?
Oh yeah. Because of course Star Wars droids, they all have to have names that are like, it's a designation with letters and numbers, and then you make a name out of it, right? That's like the thing you do.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking I was like, medical assistant, right? So MA.
Yeah.
Dash. And then here I was thinking, let's do like 487 or something, and so people call them Mabel.
Oh, I like that. MA 487, Mabel. They're great. I like that. I'm assuming they them.
Yeah, so they use they them pronouns. Like I said earlier, they're kind of like the robot from Rogue One.
Yeah.
Like former Imperial droid. They have that like head shape. They're kind of the same, but they're like slimmer.
They're sort of slimmer
and more
a little
human-sized.
scaled down, right? Yeah, like not Enforcer, but like
only 6'3" instead of like 7 feet tall or whatever.
Yeah.
But like still kind of like tall and like long of limb, a little bit awkward in how they move around. And I think they wear probably like it's like a coat with the sleeves ripped off because it like wouldn't fit them properly otherwise.
Is it?
And they mostly use it just for pockets and to like store things.
Is the coat like Imperial issue? Is it like old, or is it like
Yeah, it's like a kind of
like
it's that gray of the uniforms.
like a great coat sort of thing going on, but like without the sleeves. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, like it looks like it's designed by like Hugo Boss or something.
Yeah.
Like it's trying to be really intimidating, but then it's also kind of shabby and has been repurposed.
Yeah.
And yeah, they just have like stuff in all the pockets and have like sewn extra pockets on the inside.
Different colored fabric and stuff. Like
yeah, like it's kind of a patchwork thing, and it is used. It's it's not being used for its intended purpose of looking like an intimidating officer. It is now being used as a like
droid storage coat.
Yeah, just a place to put things.
Do they have like what kind of like chassis color or like insignias like on them or anything like
yeah, they were like
detail,
black and silver.
Okay.
Like predominantly that like matte black, but like it's paint, and so it's kind of like chipped in a lot of places, and you can see the metallic kind of colors underneath.
A little bit of wear and tear, yeah.
Yeah, lots of like that thing where like you do the same motion over and over again, and it just like wears away the paint in like a scuff in a certain way. A lot of those kinds of markings around like their elbows and armpits and stuff like that.
Is there any specific Imperial like something that would be obviously like it's the Imperial star or whatever like on the side of their
yeah
head
that's
or
like
anything?
on their chest or on their back or something. It's
Yeah.
like in a couple places on them, but it's mostly covered by clothing and
Got it.
stuff.
Yeah, so it's like it's covered up at the moment.
They haven't
I
like
only asked that because of Imperial like sentiment, you know what I mean?
yeah, they haven't like rubbed it off or like gotten rid of it because I don't think it really occurs to them to do so.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still there, but it's not being played up. It's not.
That's awesome.
It's not prominent in their look.
I love Mabel already.
Yeah, and I think probably the most important thing is their like the most individualizing thing about them, other than like they have a coat on, is their voice, right? Like you would recognize their voice, which is tuned. They've like retuned their voice a little bit, and I think whereas most of the like standard medical droids would have that like British male kind of voice, they've pitched theirs and like retuned it to be. It's a little bit softer and kind of more feminine.
Like a little gentler, yeah.
Yeah.
So instead of your bedside manner being like "do as I say," it's a little bit more like "please do."
Yeah, they're
as
still
I
a
say."
little curt, but like, but their voice just is. They have deliberately taken the time and energy to change their voice.
So it's MA-487, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Would you have liked to have purchased this feature, this alteration from specialist droid alteration specialist?
What, your character, Dave? Yes.
Yeah.
Almost certainly. Like I got your help to do it or something. Yeah, because I'm
The
still a total
introduction.
beginner. Yeah, I'm still a total beginner at actually like working on droids.
Yeah,
so.
you're more a biological specialist because you're a doctor, right? So it's
yeah, exactly.
It's a whole thing, programming and such.
Yeah, they've kind of realigned their imperative to include droids.
So make sure to change the character sheet name just so that that I have a record of how the names are spelled, so I can put them on the
Yeah, I'll adjust that.
on this stuff. Anybody else have a name and description of the two left that would like to go next? Aki, Dave?
Go.
Yeah.
My character's name is Xyle.
Xyle.
XYLE, Xyle. And they're 5'7". They have silver skin. I decided to do silver instead of blue because silver is also apparently a valid coloration for the chest.
Yeah, like a very pale blue silver kind of deal.
Yeah, with black hair. I haven't decided whether or not I want it to be textured. I think it's going to be like pretty waves, lots of pretty wavy black hair, and of course red eyes because chest.
Yep. Solid red. Yep.
Yeah, I would say that they are a slender and very well built. Somebody who is used to kind of slipping in and out of places unnoticed, or making quick getaways. They're not built like a fighter in any sense of the form. Like when I say they're well built, I mean that they're they clean up good. You could put them in a suit and it'd be like, damn. Like it's yeah, they're handsome. Like they have I wanted to talk to you about this.
Yeah.
Ask you what you think. I was going to give them a scar across their face that might cause one of their eyes to have been rendered useless. But I wanted to talk to you about the possibility of what's the word for it? Cybernetic eye or something like that. But I wanted to run that by you first.
Stuff like that, if it does anything more than what the regular eye would do, would be very expensive.
I wouldn't want it to like be like a special.
Okay, it's just
thing.
it's just like
something so that they
a
can
cybernetic eye. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
kind
of
of
course.
like Luke's cybernetic hand.
Yeah,
it doesn't do anything extra. It's just
definitely.
Just a functional prosthetic.
100%.
Yeah.
It's
a functional prosthetic is what I'm
functional
looking for.
regular prosthetic. You're welcome to have, obviously.
Cool. I'd like it if the coloration was slightly off, though.
Yeah, like a little bit pinker or something.
Yeah. So they have like a deep scar over. So they definitely caught somebody's hands.
Mm-hmm.
That could be part of their backstory. They caught these hands,
the Chiss ascendancy is not merciful.
Yeah, not at all. people are going to be like, "Why you run away?" And they'll just be like,
"This."
I don't feel like I need to explain anymore.
What about gear, clothing, like their attire?
I think they tend to like wear lots of sort of like dingy colored things that will help them to blend into the background. Lots of grays and browns, leathers, canvas, like that kind of, good sturdy boots that are quick, like can help aid the quick getaway.
I love the idea of a stealthy Chiss because Chiss are so rare. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where it's like your species will stand out, but your ability to stay unnoticed will be like it's just a great juxtaposition. Sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I haven't taken any additional like skills or anything like that in stealth. I think it's less that they're stealthy and more like because they know the street. Yeah, because they know the streets and stuff. Like they know how to like make a clean exit from a situation. Like they're more that kind of person. They're cunning.
I have to ask this because Chiss are funny like this. Is Xyle short for anything? Because, for instance, Chiss names are usually large, gigantic syllable apostrophe messes. Like, Thrawn's actual name is Mithra Naruto with like 1 million apostrophes. So,
then I will say yes and think of what it's short.
Yeah, that would be
short for.
That would be wonderful. The typical.
I love stupid, ridiculous long names.
It's not like that, Gabe. It's spelled slightly. If somebody in chat write Mithra Naruto the way that it's supposed to be spelled for me, I don't want to type.
Someone did it earlier.
It's not Naruto, which is the correct pronunciation.
Said what I said.
Yeah, I see what you said, but it's not it. Okay, great. I love this Xyle description. Make sure to change the name on the sheet for me. And Dave, you want to give us the rundown on your Mon Cal?
Yeah, I'm a Mon Calamari named Omni Brogbo.
Omni Brogbo? Amazing.
A sick name.
Omni is I love doing this. When a box will say gender and I just put no.
I mean,
No, thank you.
Mon
Don't need it.
Cal are not particularly
No, it says they are distinguished by slightly larger chest area. I'm like, why does a fish person need
yeah,
them?
don't ask me
that's
that
the same
question.
reason cats don't need them.
Don't ask
Exactly.
me, don't ask me that question. Just
So
keep
they
going.
are non gender dimorphic species,
Yeah,
basically.
Basically,
Yeah, generally.
Yeah. And in case it wasn't clear, Xyle is also they them.
Yep. Noted.
Omni is 44, so been around, spent a lot of time
A little older, yeah.
in the New Republic where they were kind of born and raised. Got a bunch of skill points in like education and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Conversely, Xyle is a child, like 18.
Okay.
Young punk kid.
Noted.
Quite short, 1.3 meters tall. I didn't really think a huge amount about build because they all seem like fairly similar.
Yeah,
Generally,
Moncal
because they're typically amphibian.
Mm-hmm.
The being on land is not.
I mean, their planet.
Well,
is,
it's just
their
because
planet is
everybody
water.
else does it. Yeah, Moncal is a water planet.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I could breathe underwater if that ever comes up.
Yeah. What about coloration? Like, what's
in coloration? I think I'd probably stay like fairly standard, kind of salmon with maybe some reddish brown bits of like mottling and stuff.
Attire. What are they wearing? Like, what kind of stuff do they have on them? Do they have a tool belt they always have with them? Like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of just doodads, and there are legitimate tools on this greatcoat in places, but there are also just things that really don't make a huge amount of sense. Just kind of strapped both on the insides of the coat, on tool belts, and then probably like on arm pouches, which are slightly magnetized. You just kind of like grab a spanner and you just like shove it on one of your arms because you need to grab it later. And they also have this kind of big weird metallic helmet which kind of lifts back and also kind of flips a little bit, because I grabbed myself some scanner goggles.
Oh, nice.
As well. Because of this planet, I figured it would help visually. It gives dark vision, but I figured it would probably help with the mist as well. It
might help with obscurement, yeah.
And then I was thinking of the fact that Mon Calamari have eyes on the side of their heads, so making goggles, I figure it kind of flips back and looks a bit like ears, which is very odd. And then they click forwards over the eyes.
That sounds great. I love them already, like with all the characters so far.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Let's take a little moment to talk about character relations. Now that we have like nice descriptions and some names and stuff, we can talk about character relations, like how we want to put the characters together as a group. Like, do any of you like? It's clear to me that Dave's Mon Calamari is the one with the ship, or like at least has brought the ship that is going to be like the quote unquote group ship in the future. It is damaged and in dock basically, and came here by either familiarity or emergency.
It turns out I can't fly a spaceship, so when I took it, this was the planet that we were pointing towards.
You put those hyperdrive coordinates in a little wonky. Things have not gone well for you since then. Seems good. Does anybody want to like immediately draw lines between characters, or want to like have any ideas of things that like in the time that you've been on VOD that you've been doing? I'll tell you that there's the major bar of the place is called Madame Harani's House of Pleasures, and it's run by a blue Twi'lek lady who like hosts all sorts of miscreants and ne'er-do-wells, as well as like a lounge singer and like like entertainment and so forth. If you want it, she can get it.
Is there a brothel associated with this?
It's a house of pleasures. So
I mean, I assumed so, but I didn't want to.
It's implied, yeah. There are performers.
Can I be the doctor on call for the brothel?
You want to be like on call for them? Yeah, for sure.
Since that's a thing, someone has to look after the staff's health, given the precarity of their work.
No, I like that. Definitely, more than welcome to.
Okay.
Gabe, if Kryno was looking, is it Kryno? Sorry,
I don't know yet.
If Kryno was looking for like bounty hunting jobs, I don't have like a bounty hunting guild thing set up. I will set one up because now I know we have a bounty hunter. But Madame Harani's is probably the first place to look. It's like the
Easy.
The very like if people have jobs, they might come there to look for someone to shoot a gun at someone else.
Yep, that makes sense. I'm
kind
down
of
with
place.
that.
The other thing is that you might work directly for Utico if Utico has like company jobs. You know what I mean? For like, settlements out in the wilds that are causing them trouble, or like people who are interrupting their supply lines or their work. Like they might put bounties out for specific people.
That makes sense.
So those are some options world-wise. Aki, I believe Zyle, or is it Zyle? Yeah, Zyle.
Yeah, Zyle is I know for a fact that Zyle at least is a runaway in this. Like they're fleeing the Chiss ascendancy. I think that whatever it is, I don't know that anything specific motivated them to come to vote, except to get to the ass end of the
This is the ass end, like
the ass end away from, and like someplace that nobody would even think to come and look for them, kind of sort of place.
For sure.
I think that it's very possible that they have a connection with Andrew's character. Perhaps they're holing up in the bar / brothel, like maybe they're renting a room somewhere nearby, or in the actual maybe they're even like working a little bit as well.
Did you come in with like injuries? Maybe like your cybernetic eye or something is
maybe
broken,
they didn't have the cybernetic eye when they first got here. Maybe they were still recovering from.
Oh, so you're looking for someone to make a quick and easy installation of a cybernetic implant. I have skills. There might be a few here.
Yeah, I think there's definitely something to, like, if you needed some doctoring, you made a connection, then you started working in like the bar for Madame Harani and so on. Like maybe that's somewhere to start. And also if you want to loop Omni in, the eye could be a quick and easy, quick fix. It's not quite the right color, sort of outlaw tech situation.
I'm into it.
Okay, all right, cool. Yeah.
I wanna get my suckery hands into everybody's characters. So I think probably the first relationship.
I mean, I'm the surgeon here, Dave. That's my job.
I have literal suckers on my hands.
It's true. If the Moncal have little like suction cups.
Yeah, but I also have fingers.
Yeah.
Great.
Does anybody, like, I want to try and get us into a cohesive unit. So like maybe a couple of moments of history between the characters, recent or distant, I don't mind. But I'd love to like have a couple of things that like tie you together as a group. We can talk about this at the beginning of session 1 as well. Like I don't mind like taking a little extra time at the beginning of our first session to talk about like, why is the group together? You know what I mean? Like why would they go out and do a job together or whatever? But I'd like to sort of, how have Kryno and MA interacted? How have
the question I'm really curious about is for Kryno coming in on a separate ship. Mm-hmm. I totally understand that. How come they're not going to try and use that one to leave?
It stops mattering to them. It was a means to get there.
I would say it was chartered. It's gone now. It didn't belong to them, right?
Oh, okay. I understand. I thought you were going to doing a slave one.
No.
Yeah, no. You chartered to go to the space station, took a shuttle to the surface, taking jobs from Utico and from the people here in a kind of bounty hunter stasis, pondering that job that they have the obligation on. You know what I mean? That's.
But I think cementing it in my head, if this is cool with everybody, you could stop me if the way I want to loop.
Go ahead, Dave.
My character to everyone else's. I think that first, so I'm forgetting everybody's character names because I can't see them yet.
Who are you trying to refer to?
Andrew's character.
Mabel.
Mabel.
Mabel. So I think the first relationship I made when I was here was with Mabel.
Yeah,
I have a feeling that's going to be everybody's first relationship.
But I think that's good. You need a ties that bind sort of situation, right? If like Mabel is a little bit of a social character, right? Like them having that, like, I can call on this person and this person and this person and we can do a job kind of thing is good.
Yeah, working with the more mechanical parts of your work
my
if required.
Little buddies as well.
Yeah, and I've tried to spread the word that I'm kind of a handy person with mechanics and stuff. So I think that's probably what brought me to you, and to also being around this House of Pleasures.
Yeah, Madame Hirani.
Yep. And I think probably when Haki's character came to your character for the kind of medical help, then there was like a referral on, and we got to know each other a little bit there. And the way I would like to have interacted so far with Kryno is I was thinking of exploring a little bit more with this character some ADHD stuff, because I'm working through some stuff at the moment. So I think it's probably just you're a Gadgeteer. I've seen you at the place and I'm very awkwardly trying to ingratiate myself with you and say, like, I can do this for you. I have a ship. It doesn't quite work yet, but
we're working on it.
What if you need a ship at some point for some bounty hunting? Also, can I look at your blaster?
Yeah.
I don't know if that would make them stay.
Yeah, I'm not sure how.
If you could just help repair, I think that's a good enough thing that he would come to you for repairs and work that he couldn't do.
Yeah.
But if it's pushing into the, hey, I can help you, let me see your things, I think that's when it's like, no.
It's like
that's when the walls go up.
You gotta earn it. You gotta get the, like, you need at least 3 character points with this relationship to see the private blaster collection.
Noticing out of the corner of your eye that I'm noticing out of the corner of your eye, of my eye, that I'm like looking at like stuff you've got on you, like the gadgets, and it's like, like instead of looking at somebody in the bar, I'm like looking at your equipment and awkwardly looking away.
He might be weird about that though. That might make it harder to trust you.
No, but
because then it's him not opening up at his own level.
I think that interaction is worth having in character as a thing that is happening now, not a thing that has happened, if you know what I mean. Like, in terms of like,
I don't know.
I guess
I don't know.
That's
I don't know, because if the only way that it goes well is if Kaino goes positively with it. If it goes negatively, then it just works against us.
Sure, but then...
Yeah, that would be driving the two of you apart.
Sure, but then Omni has learned that that's not the way to go about it. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things that, like...
Yeah, if that's not a thing your character would be receptive to, we could work it in that you're more knowing the other characters, and then I know you through the other characters as well.
It could literally just be a job. Like, my character, he's not hard to get involved with on a
professional level.
Yeah. Professional. If it's a professional thing, he'll work with you. That's easy. If his job is to hunt people down, he doesn't want to show you his things.
I kind of get that.
Yeah, not inclined. I can't imagine any bounty hunters, especially like emotionally open or vulnerable with people, right? Like, it's just not a line of work where that
it's like, I hunt these people down. I'm glad that you do these shiny things. I don't want to show you mine because I don't know you well enough.
Trade secrets, and then you get to know them, and then stuff opens up. Obviously, like things can be done.
Yeah, as long as you're. I was about to say, if you're open to it as we move on.
We're only talking about an initial position here, more than not a.
I didn't want to have that dynamic in my head if it was never going to happen.
Definitely.
I'll have to think of something else.
And so
that seems like a third step to me.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And like, we haven't done jobs in the past. This will be like the first.
This will be the first one you go
score that we do together when
yeah.
we start playing. Okay.
Yeah.
I have figured out the rest of Zyle's name, but I'm going to make that a thing that people can unlock about them in the future as they get to know them.
Yeah, sure.
I can toss it your way though at some point,
Yeah,
Elf.
Please, because if I have Chiss characters hunting you, they will know it. Okay, cool. I like where we're at. I like where our head is at, and that we've got descriptions, we've got like basic character situations. We'll talk a little bit more in session 1 about our initial starting position. I think that's worth doing, and we'll like feel the characters out a little bit. I've got a couple of like opening things to do, and that'll be fun. I think we're basically at a point where we're good for today. If anybody has any character-related questions or wants to talk about their characters with me between now and next week, please feel free to reach out either to me personally or in the group chat that we have. Like, I would be more than happy to talk about more of this stuff. My GM stream next week is going to be Overdrive, building the world around these characters existing now. Because I have a world that exists. Now I need a world that exists with these people in it. You know what I mean?
What job would they have?
Well, or like, who are they going to be interested in? If I make a junk shop, is it worth having? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like if I make a bounty hunter guild regulations board, you know, like who's going to be in charge of it, and will they know Kaino? You know what I mean? Like, or Kaino and these kinds of things. Will there be art? Probably. We you know, this is gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
We pay people. We have a budget. So
yeah, we have some, you know, we have some stuff environmentally. I will also talk about stuff that Mabel would know based on Mabel having been there the longest, and also like having endured the conversion from Empire to Utico. Sort of thing. Like, we'll talk about that next week as like part of the setup. Because there are like NPCs you would know, or characters you would be familiar with, or like situationally what is happening you'd be more familiar with as well, like based on your longevity here. Other note that I missed while we were talking about gear: everybody gets a respirator, because if you're on VOD, you need one. Like,
except me, because I'm a robot.
Yeah, sure, you don't breathe, so
because I don't breathe.
You're fine. Yeah, you're fine. So everybody gets a respirator. Filling that respirator with oxygen will be part of the, like, you know, labor of what is valuable and what is not on this planet. But to start with, you have a respirator. It has plenty of.
I'll hook you all up. Custom respirators.
Ooh.
They also shine different colors as you talk.
Love to have needlessly fancy tech.
Yeah. On that note, let's do our shout outs for today and close out. All right. Gabe, why don't you start us off?
Hello, I am Gabe at Gabe James Games. You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, and across the internet under that name. I don't have as much happening right now, which is good. On Thursdays, you can find me on the Wandering DM channel, 8 p.m. Eastern, playing through Cyberpunk Red. On Monday, with most of this crew playing through Rime of the Frost Maiden, 1 p.m. Pacific time. That's it for the most part. A little bit less lately.
I mean, chill is good, right? Yeah. Aki, you want to go next?
Everybody, I'm Aki. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at MixGenie in a Bottle. That's MXGINIINA. Sorry, wow, goodness. INABOTTLE. You can find my entire Twitch schedule over on my personal Twitch stream. That's twitch.tv/ShidareAki. That's SHIDAREAKI. Gosh, I'm all over the place. Tomorrow I am going to be doing a very special level 20 D&D stream with friends who roll dice. We are raising money for breast cancer awareness in Australia, and I'm going to be playing a blood hunter, and this should be wild. And then I have one more thing that's coming up on Sunday that I don't think has been officially announced yet, but that I'm very excited about. So definitely check out my socials for that, because it's one of those things where when I saw it, I was just like, me. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm very excited about it.
Nice. Thank you for being flustered with us today, Aki. I'm sorry I led you through the rules a little roughly. Dave, go next.
Okay. Hello everyone. I'm super glad that you all came to watch. There was like such kind of excited energy in chat. It was like rubbing off on me a lot. I had a really good time today. If you'd like to find me elsewhere on the internet, you can at Dave_the_human on Twitter. In terms of other stuff, yeah, like the rhyme stuff. That's mostly it. I'll probably be doing like a weird sporadic tweet thread of BlizzCon announcements. I tried really hard and I managed to not watch it at the same time. So
Good.
there you go, as willpower.
Good. Wonderful. Andrew?
Yes, hi, that's me. I'm Andrew. You can follow me on Twitter at CommutingCrow or on twitch.tv/actualfactual. My tabletop role-playing game, Girl by Moonlight, is going to be coming out like sometime at the end of this year or something, but it's in the works. I'm just wrapping up stuff with the publisher and trying to make an actual physical book.
Yeah.
So you can follow me if you're into that kind of stuff.
I'm excited for that. And then I guess there's me. I'm DistractedElf. You can find me at twitch.tv/DistractedElf or on Twitter at DistractedElf. My personal streams at the moment have been a lot of League of Legends with my partner Siobhan. We're trying to climb out of the Bronze League, and doing great, doing super great. And by super great, I mean I started in Bronze 2 yesterday and made my way back to Bronze 2. So doing great. The other things that I'm involved in are, of course, I'm GMing the Rime of the Frostmaiden game on Mondays on twitch.tv/D&D at the same time as this show, 1 p.m. PST. And I'm doing GM streams for Desperate Gamble on Thursdays here on this channel. So if you want to see what I put together GM-wise this coming week for what we've just experienced as a character generation, we'll be doing that. My brain is mostly consumed by Desperate Gamble stuff at the moment. If you are interested, there is a Desperate Gamble Discord, and you can join it. And we're where you brainstorm with me about ideas and cool stuff and NPCs and the world, and just nerd out about Star Wars things related to this campaign. Highly recommend you hop on the Discord if you're interested in the ongoing development of the campaign. The other thing is, of course, if you like what you're seeing and you're like, hey, I'd like to play a Star Wars, then Roll20, sign up. Roll20.net, sign up for free and make your tabletop dreams come true using the available resources of our wonderful virtual tabletop. Get started. It's right there. It's free. It costs nothing. Who doesn't want to play Space Jedi in a panorama? Yeah, that's where I'm at. Roll20. It's less likely to get cheese sauce on your character sheets than a table would be. Yeah. All right, friends. I'll see you later. Have a good one. Bye, nerds. Later.